Yo, what up, everybody? It's Purple Pill Pod, episode 103. We got a panel of beautiful ladies. Let's fucking go.
Let's get it. School's in session.
School's in session, I guess. All right. Welcome to the Purple Pill Pod, everybody. Episode 103. We got Desmond here hosting for us tonight. We're going to have Eric G joining us here in a couple minutes, and we got three beautiful ladies here tonight. But before we actually get started with the introductions with their name, age, education level, as you guys might have noticed last episode, we introduced TTS or talk text to speech options. So starting this episode, what we're going to do, if you want your question answered or addressed immediately, we will set a minimum $19.99 or other words $20 limit towards that, and then that way your super chat will be read off immediately. Other than that, we won't disrupt the show in the middle of it, middle of a topic that we have going, to ask a general question that you might have that may not pertain to that actual to the topic at hand at the time of the show. So again, if you want your question answered immediately, go ahead and super chat in $20. Over the next couple of episodes, we're going to open up a donations bin straight through Streamlabs. All right. But let's go ahead and get this show started off. Let's go ahead and get our new guest to introduce herself. So go ahead. Name, age, education level, and occupation.
Education level?
Yep.
All right. My name is Shanoa. I am 29. I have an associate's degree. And what was the fourth thing?
Name, age, occupation, education level, and as well your relationship status.
Adding stuff. You're just All right. I am single and I am a full-time artist, part-time fashion wholesaler.
What kind of artist?
A painter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. What you have a specific type of painting that you like
I was
to do?
actually going to ask if I could bring one with me, but no, I do acrylic paintings, black light, UV light reactive paintings, not abstract. I mean, it would be more, I guess, surrealism, but I didn't go to art school because I think it's a waste of time, money. So I don't know all the terminology exactly, but it's trippy and it's pretty, and it's like an installation.
All right. Do you believe in zodiac signs too?
So I don't believe in the whole, like, what's your sign? Because that's like just a fragment of who you are. I think if you're really going to get into it, get all the way into it, do the birth chart, understand what you're reading. So, hit or miss sometimes. Depends.
So it's yes.
No.
All right.
Yes.
Wait, so yes, but deeper then.
Yeah, it's only, to me, I'll jokingly get into the conversation of it, but like if we're really going to get into it, I'm going to get all the way into it and start to like look into things. And if I'm like, I'm going to look up what does this part of your birth chart mean and how does it relate to your life? That's what the truth is, because some people will be like, oh, I'm a Capricorn, but then you read the description, you're like, well, that doesn't really resonate with how I act. Well, then that means that that's not the aspect that you resonate with or that shows through you. So then you would look at like your sun, your rising or your moon, but all in general, it's just a measurement tool to try to understand life and personality types. So it's really not supposed to be something that you live your whole life by. It's just like a measurement tool. Like,
what the fuck does that mean?
Pattern recognition, bitch. Damn.
All right. And our next guest, name, age, occupation level, relationship status.
My name's Stephanie. I recently just got my certificate for forensics and private investigations.
Ooh.
Where your grades at? You got straight fucking F and D.
And I work for Nordstrom. And my relationship status right now is single, complicated. Might not be single.
She got options. We all do.
No comment.
So you're in a situationship, basically.
Actually,
she said entanglement. I like that.
Well, actually, my ex reached out to me and we're trying to kind of like work on things.
Oh.
So we're there. It's there.
Oh, okay. All right. So you missed them.
I did and I didn't.
So a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Who broke it off the first time?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why you let him try again?
Kind of still.
Wait, why'd you end it?
You should have brought this
It's a long story.
Well, we got 2 hours.
There's a lot of reasons why I ended it. It was just because it was very immature. There was cheating, lying, him choosing his friends a lot over me, choosing the nightlife, and just felt like I had to end it. So yeah.
So you trust him this time?
He said he's retired from the streets or something like
You know what? I can honestly say that right now I don't trust them.
So
Why are we trying?
I told them that I kind of want to talk, like try the relationship to be different this time, because our relationship was very toxic, unhealthy, and we were young. We were teenagers.
Oh yeah.
Wait, how long ago was that y'all dated?
2 years ago.
2 years? The fuck?
How old are you? You were a teenager 2 years ago. Wait a minute.
I was a teenager. Yeah, I was a teenager when I met him.
Well,
Oh,
you met
how long
him,
were y'all
not when you
together?
left.
How long were y'all together?
Oh, like 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah, we had a baby.
We gonna have a heart to heart, me
Wait.
and you.
Yeah, we
Y'all had a child?
yeah, we did.
So he's your baby daddy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
All
I
right,
don't
well,
like,
that's
like
why- I
him
mean,
my
That's
best
why
friend.
right there.
Kind of,
That's
You know,
the chink in the armor.
yeah.
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 Let's see if this works.
Cool. All right. Well, next guest. Name, age, occupation level,
My name
relationship
is
status.
Caitlin. I am 24. I am a retail event marketer. I have some college, but no degree. And I am very, 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 very single.
Like
Happy about it.
celibate, single, or
Oh, hell no.
Oh, say like.
The hell?
You do, huh?
Huh?
You like it?
I do.
Hmm. Oh, okay. All right. So she out here.
I don't know about out here. Wait a minute. No.
So do you have like a specific person like that you reach out to, or like
I do.
yeah?
I do.
Everyone's got a favorite.
Right.
No, not a favorite. He's the only one on the roster at the moment. It's just nothing serious.
It still
Gotcha.
sounds like a favorite.
How is it a favorite?
I
He's
mean-
a winner.
So is this someone you ever actually committed to fully, or is it just someone like a hookup?
He's somebody that I met shortly-ish after my last relationship. Mostly just talking kind of stuff after the fact.
Oh.
And now we're like, well, maybe.
Maybe y'all actually commit, or maybe y'all
Maybe.
keep fucking.
Maybe. I'm gonna leave it at maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, speaking of rosters, do you possibly have other men in that? And I know you say you only have one man in the roster, but do you have other men that give you other resources, whether that be like dinner dates, rent money, or whatever the case may be?
I am completely self-sufficient and independent. I don't rely on anyone for anything except for myself. That's just how I was raised. That being said, there are men that offer. I simply decline.
All right.
Fair, fair.
All right. Cool.
You know, my little soul sister over here.
All right. Well, while we get a little bit deeper before Des starts asking any other questions, I want to know a little something about y'all's preferences whenever it comes to this current dating market. What would y'all say is the average, the height of the guy that you would like take seriously right now if you were to, give a guy a chance? What would be the minimum height that you'll deal with and minimum income
Ooh.
that he has to make annually?
Well, I don't really be thinking about the income. I'm more worried about where you're going and what is it that you're doing every day.
At 29 years old?
Well, obviously, if they're making less than me, then I'm making like 30 grand a year off art. I mean, 'cause I'm a starving artist still. But I mean, no, because I come from a family that works really hard for everything. So as long as you're a hard worker, we can figure out the rest to a degree. Like as long as you got your own place, you're living in your own car, you can take care of yourself. That's mainly what I'm worried about. But my
Did you
parents,
say living in your own car?
no, listen, you're
Like,
like
have
have your own car. Come on,
Okay.
man. Come on, man.
Man, the bar is so low, fellas. Go ahead, sign up. Shit, you might have a chance.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't. I don't want to drink personal information about my family, but just the way I grew up, like it's just as long as we can get it taken care of, that's all that really matters. As long as we're doing what we want to do, we're happy.
All right, so he has to at least make 30K, match what you're making.
It'd be easy to
And-
match what I make. I mean, it's a choice for me though, because I want to do what I love over the money. I'm not really so much worried about that. I know how to make a lot out of a little bit. So like I say, I'm bougie on a budget. You know, like, I
Budget
do my
queen.
own nails, I do my own
Mhm.
hair, I cut my own hair, all that kind of stuff. So it's like you can still make it work a little bit. But that's also because I'm from a city that's the culture. I'm from Memphis. Like it's low income in a lot of the city. Like you gotta figure it out. How to get everybody else, you know.
Gotcha,
Height
gotcha.
wise, it's just as long as they're taller than me. I mean, I'm 5'1", so that's easy. I mean, but my daddy 5'6", you know what I'm saying?
5'1". All right.
Okay.
Short Kings, let's go. All right. Stephanie.
Well, I'm 4'8", so
Everyone's
do
gonna be
have-
tall.
I have a height
Dang.
requirement.
Who else?
They have to be at least over 5'10". Yeah, over 5'10".
5'10".
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big jump.
You know,
That's like the average height for men, right? Like 5'8", 5'10", something like that.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was
Yeah,
like
5'8",
5'6",
5'9".
5'8", somewhere around there.
That's fair.
So
Just like
5'10",
preference. Yeah.
annual income.
You know, I don't have like a certain amount I want them to make as long as they're not, fucking lazy that they don't want to get a job or work hard or
Absolutely.
you develop a career in whatever
Come
it
on,
is that
guys,
they're
working
doing.
is hard. It's so much.
You're working
pain.
now.
What?
As long as you have that mentality that as long as you have that mentality that you want to be someone important, you want to make money, you're gonna do everything you can to be responsible for me.
What about
for
chubby
yourself.
dudes though?
Why did you say that?
In there, done that. Good.
You gotta bring up chubby
Dad
dudes.
bodies are welcome to a degree, and this
Give
should be
me a
like
chance.
shit.
I like guys with dad bods.
If you
Or
healthy with
guys
dad
that are
bod, that's
dads.
fine.
So
Dad
chubby dude
bods.
approved.
I got my answer.
So as long as he just has drive,
Yeah.
you'll be good.
Hmm.
But what if that drive isn't bringing home, putting food on the table, paying rent, struggling making ends meet? Eventually, you're gonna get tired of it, right?
Well, as a woman, she's probably going to see what it is that's missing or lacking, and or see possibilities for him that he can't see himself. So then she can bring those possibilities
Yeah.
to him. He can say, "Oh, I didn't think about it. Let me try that." And that is your role as his woman.
There
Yeah.
it is. I freaking love her.
So you think a woman can motivate a man to do better?
Absolutely. We give y'all purpose.
All right, Des, you got anything to add to that?
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say they find their own purpose, and if you link up together, then it can be like
Yeah.
To
Like
a
the- like
degree,
the
but what is
fuel.
the purpose for a man to get money and to get?
I was about to say, are you saying
women?
that a woman can't motivate a man?
That's her.
no.
that's
I'm
her
separating it.
Nah.
What I'm saying is like if you have your purpose, and then that person, like whoever you find, like who corresponds with you relationship wise,
Mhm.
then they can fuel you even more.
Right.
So it's like you have that purpose, and they get you even further down.
And that's
the
kind of
goal
what I'm
line.
saying is like
Yeah.
if you're writing with this purpose, but maybe you can like as man, you're focusing on one way to it, and we as a woman are like, hey, why don't you try this or that and the other? That's when you understand your man's purpose and what his ultimate goal is, and then you help him derive the dream of the idea of what he can do, and y'all as men then take that and actually put it into action in the physical world.
And see,
So
that
that's more
answers
so
the
what I
question
mean. It's
of
like,
what do you
yeah.
bring to the table?
Because
Other than
if I'm your
pussy?
woman, I know, right? And if I'm your woman, I
I think
already
it
know
depends.
where you're
though. I
trying to
feel
go.
like I'm gonna say both like men and women are pretty shit at picking like the right partner. So there's,
Oh,
a lot,
absolutely.
there's
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of
third
people.
mitzvah.
We're not saying that.
No, I'm
It's
agreeing with
third
you guys.
mitzvah.
I'm saying there's a lot of people who don't get those first steps. So there's a lot of women who don't have that first thing you're talking about.
I will say that a lot of
Right.
women love to think that they can build a man up, they can make him change, help him grow. That's not always true. It's not.
You're
Right. That's why it's
You have
asked
to
that
want to
question.
grow, and
Yeah.
you have to be able to recognize that ability that you want more.
Yeah.
That's what she was talking about with you
Yeah.
have to have the drive, the
He's already
ambition. I have
there,
to
right?
know
Yeah.
that this is something that you want. If that's something that you want, I will stand behind you. I will help you. Anything that you need, I got you. We'll get you there.
Like for example,
But I
I,
guess the real question is
Oh.
like how long?
What do you mean, how long?
Like what's
on-
the
well, it depends on where he at, where he is now, and where
Mhm.
is he going. So it's not finding someone that's just like, oh, I want to do this one day, and he's made no moves to do it.
yeah.
You're already on your way there, and you're at a similar level of success that I'm at with it.
So
If
if he's
anything.
at a similar success as you, and you see that he's like taking the steps to do it, like how long could you wait for him to make that next step? Or would you be fine? Okay, he's still taking those steps. So it's like maybe like 6 months, a year. How long would it take to where like, okay, I don't see him actually making it.
Well, as long as we're taking care of our priorities, like for me, that's why I have a fashion wholesale job. So I can still make money off my dream, but then also have another source of income.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if he's absolutely doing nothing that's not getting us any forward motion, then there needs to be a change. And if he's not willing to make that change, that's a problem. But it really depends on the situation and the person and everything else. It's really relative to that, whether or not how much time I'm going to give it. Because like when I look at artistry, for example, artists aren't making $200,000 on paintings until they're like in their 40s or 50s, you know? And there's certain aspects, certain career paths where it's going to be a later success level. But if we're still taking care of what we need to take care of in the meantime, it can keep going. There really is no limit.
So I got a question. Do y'all want a traditional man then as well?
Depends which traditional man has so many definitions right now. I think.
Traditional values is very skewed.
Right, exactly.
So if I say traditional man, I'm talking about a man that's going to provide, protect, usually pay 100% of the bills, at least,
I didn't really grow
take
up
care
in
of
a
the
home
household.
like that. My father was a provider and a protector for sure. But him and my mother both came from poverty families, and so they both worked their ass off together, making a decent amount. And so when it comes to that part of it, like no, my dad wasn't the sole provider. My mom took care of like the budgeting and everything else. But my dad also built things with his hands. He rebuilt a broken down home for us. But my mom would stay in the house and clean. But he always had projects outside. He was always building cars, building like houses, working on his truck, something like that. And then my mom would inside and take care of things. But then he'd do like Saturday morning breakfast. There was a beautiful balance between the two where it doesn't have to be black and white. It's really whatever works for that partnership. 'Cause
Gotcha.
My
Do you
dad
want-
is very traditional most of the ways you think so, but it's
So for what
Like,
you want though, because the question is what your preferences are. So
Mhm.
would you say that you want 50-50? And I'll ask each one of y'all ladies that. Do you want a 50-50 relationship where you're picking up half the slack?
I want to have my contribution, and it depends on the man I'm dealing with, and it depends on what our goals are, what everything else. Because that's why I do art. One of my other motivations, besides just wanting to be an artist and pursue a dream that my relative couldn't, is the fact that I could do this career path, and I could still be at home and be present for kids if I want to have kids. So I'm still providing to the household, and also still being a mother and being a woman,
Mhm.
But that's also because I've also seen family members that have gotten in those positions where they completely let go, and then the man turned out to not be so great, or something happened because shit happens, and then they were kind of left ass out. So I do think that it's important to kind of have your own thing or maintain your skill sets or something if you're going to let a man take over. Still have your hobbies and your skill sets in case
Of course.
anything happens.
Of course. So what I heard you say, and just correct me if I'm wrong, you said that you'll be willing to take care of the household items and as well the family. Is that correct?
Yes, but I do expect
Absolutely.
my husband to be part of that raising process, to be emotionally
course.
available and empathetic towards our children, and not to be like a cold, hyper masculine man where he's like, "You'll be fine," and then not like tell you how much he loves you every day and give you
Yeah.
hugs. Like,
Yeah.
So I need him to be fully present within the family. I think parenting is going to be 50-50.
The reason why I asked this is because this is all coming back down to financial reasons, financial stability, and like who you looking for to be the financial provider within the household and the family.
I feel like
Like-
I'd be the safety net, if anything. You know
The
what I
safety
mean?
net,
Like
okay.
I'm more of the safety net. Like,
Yeah.
He's got it, but I'm here and I got something too in case something bad happens. Because our economy, our society, our government is in shambles, so we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. You gotta be prepared.
Gotcha. Yeah. The reason why I'm asking this question is because everything you just mentioned did not have anything to do with the financial stability of the household. You mentioned about you mentioned about providing within the house itself and as well the family, but it was nothing there about financial. And whenever just a little while ago you said, "Oh, I'm willing to pick up the slack financially," like a little while ago, and that's why I asked, "Do you want a traditional man?" Like a lot of times it sounds good on paper to say, "Yeah, I'll be willing to pick up the slack," but really you don't want to do that.
Well, no,
And that's
you don't want
okay.
to do that, but you need to be prepared to, especially in modern times. This is
Yeah.
not the 1930s and 40s and 50s anymore. You have to be
Mhm.
prepared for everything because we have some crazy shit happening in the world. So no, I'm not saying that like I would be completely fine, yes, with a man coming in and taking care of things, but I also like that he has that knowledge, security that I am fully capable of handling things too if need be. Especially by the time I'm older, because I plan on my art being worth hundreds of thousands. It's already worth a couple thousands, you know what I'm saying?
I got to see some of this art.
I'll show you.
Oh, she's
I
good.
brought some. I wish I would have.
All right. Stephanie,
Yeah.
you want a traditional man?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had this conversation actually with my baby father that at some point in the future, right?
Mhm.
So I'm in college still. I want to become a lawyer. And at some point while I'm working on that, I would like to, you know, work for the police and become a detective. And I told them that means I'm going to be working, right? It's going to be him working and me working. I'm willing at some point in my life, if we have kids, to give up my job and just stay at home and raise my kids first and let him provide for us.
Bet. What would be the minimum income that he has to have then to provide for you and your family if you're willing to be, play your traditional wife duties?
Minimum, let's say he gets paid every
Say
What?
annual. Or you could do a month if you want, per month. how
yeah,
much
let's
you
do
make per
let's
month.
do a month.
All right.
Like let's say he gets paid every 2 weeks, right? Minimal, I feel like every 2 weeks he should at least make 3,500. Right?
Every other week?
Yeah,
Bi-weekly, yeah.
because let's imagine like we have a house. Let's say we got 2-3 kids. They're, we got cars, we got insurance, we have bills to pay.
So a little
But
over.
would you really trust him at that point, where it's like that's enough to let go yourself?
So I would say you'll say about maybe high 80 grand. High
About.
80s. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
what's your minimum height, and as well annual income that you want a guy to make for you to take him seriously?
So before recently, my minimal height was at least 6 foot. I did not date below 6 foot. I've opened my mind up a little bit to like 5'9" and up. That being said, I am 4'11", so it's not all that realistic, but I don't really care.
You were 4'11",
I'm
and you
4'11".
had requirement for 6 feet.
I did. I like the person to be very, very tall. That's just what I'm attracted to. If I don't have to look up to look at you, it's hard.
But everybody's looking
that's
up
all-
at
You would think, but here's the thing: 5'8" ain't as tall as you think it is.
So you wanna get some neck dance? You wanna go?
Yeah, I want to look up,
You're looking up either way, so you
But-
want.
but
Yeah.
I realize that there's more to it. So like
Yeah.
I've been working on like what my requirements are. I'm a little more loose with that. You said financial wise, I do not care how much you make. I am 100% ready to make whatever you want to do work as long as you have the ambition, as long as you have the
Stop the
drive.
cap.
Can he be homeless?
What's the minimum?
I mean, what kind of question
Come on,
is
there's
that?
a minimum.
If you're homeless, here's the thing: if you're homeless, do you know what you want to do? Are you still working?
Come on, you're not even gonna look at home.
No, I'm
Let's
asking.
be
I'm
real.
legitimately asking. I had some like big struggles in my life recently. I was homeless. I was still working, and I put myself in my own apartment. I put myself in my own car. Like I made that shit happen. So, do you have the ambition, the drive, the want to do better than what you are now?
But
if you have that, absolutely, I'll work with you.
But if he's homeless, are you even going to give him the chance to find that out?
Absolutely.
Come on now.
No, I'm so serious. I have been in a relationship where I have taken care of 100% of the bills so that he could follow his dream. And I did that for years. Years.
Why?
Because I loved him and I believed in him. And
But
I
he
knew
hit
that
that- he
he
hit that
had that drive. He had that ambition. He knew what he wanted to do and I supported him. I did this man's schoolwork for him. I was taking care of him, taking care of the bills, taking care of the house.
God damn.
That's how devoted I am to somebody that I care about. So if I know that you have that, then I do not care. As long as we can work towards that together, you're good.
Wait, so what happened? Why did it end?
Cheating.
He cheated.
He cheated.
He's
Mhm.
not. That's why he's where he's at in his life is because he didn't
There
like
you are.
himself and he was unhappy. So you couldn't make him happy. You couldn't
No.
do
Why does
that.
he not have to like himself?
Well, because if you're treating the person closest to you with that much disloyalty, you're very
By the
happy,
time that
and
he had
happiness comes from a
cheated-
dislike within your own life and yourself. That's what it is.
By the
I
time
mean, there
that
could be so many reasons why they
Yeah,
think that.
I mean,
No, there's
No.
a lot,
Yeah.
but like my thing is if you respect and love other people and you're thinking that and you're treating people how you treat yourself, how you treat other people is a reflection of how you feel about yourself every fucking time. So if you have that level of disloyalty, why couldn't you just say, hey, I'm not happy, I'm gonna leave? You don't have to say you're gonna go fuck somebody else,
Exactly.
but just go do it.
Because he
Have
didn't
the
want her
back.
to leave.
because
Well,
I was
then
taking
he-
care of
and he's-
everything.
Well, if anything, he's weak, and he also
he
has
was.
a low self-esteem and low self-value.
By the time that he had stepped out on me, I had already like moved us completely, worked my butt off for him to go to a different school, get to where he needed to be because he was a football player, he was chasing his dreams, whatever. I got a charge for this man. A charge. And
And what, you put your hands on him?
no. So like we got pulled over for like some weed in the car. I took the charge because he was acting like a bitch. But
Damn.
neither here nor there.
That's why
Anyway,
you left him.
it's not. I stayed after that.
Wait. So if he wasn't a bitch and he cheated, would you be fine?
By the time that he had cheated, the way that he was treating me was so disrespectful and unloving
Mhm.
that I had no choice but to leave.
How so?
Because at that point, I had to choose him or myself.
No,
And
like, what do you
lose
do
feelings.
at that point?
So it was so toxic to the point where if I went to the hospital to take care of myself, like I didn't have a car at the time. We were sharing his car. That was pretty much the only thing he had. And I had a very severe allergic reaction. I tried to get a hold of him. I couldn't. I didn't have the car at the time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call an ambulance. He came in. Hours later, I'd already been to the hospital, been back. I was asleep in my bed. He had a key to the apartment, whatever. And he came in and he started yelling at me, screaming at me because I ordered an
Shut up,
ambulance and I
bitch!
couldn't afford it. And I couldn't afford it. He was like, you can't afford an ambulance, da 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 da. How could you be so stupid? Da 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 da. I was like, I have nobody here. We moved here for you. So, like, I had to save my own life. I was gasping on the floor. I called my mom. I was like, what do I do? Yeah, mind you, I'm 19. I'm young. I'm stupid. And she was like, call a fucking ambulance. So I did. I saved my own life. I walked home from the hospital because I couldn't afford a taxi. And here he comes bursting in after his football practice talking about, like, what the fuck? I'm like, man, what do you mean, what the fuck? Meanwhile, I'm over here stressing about you and this girl that you say is just a friend and you ended up
that's-
fucking her, but you won't admit that to me. So it became a whole thing.
Was this guy your age? Like,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it does. It does. I don't make the best decisions, but I try to learn and move forward and do better.
So you basically left him because he failed as a protector and a provider, basically.
No, I didn't care that he didn't pay the bills. I didn't care that he didn't protect me. My point was that if I'm doing all this and I'm trying to help you and I'm making you better and we're going to have this great life together, how could you be so disrespectful as to do that to me when I'm giving you everything?
Right.
Okay.
So it goes back to what Eric was just saying. It's just like he's not really providing any utility or any resources for you. You're doing
He's
a lot.
useless.
And then, yeah, he's useless. And then he still steps out of a relationship. It's like, dude, you're a fucking bum. Like, so, I mean, but I'm pretty sure it might be some compromise if he was, providing a whole lot of resources to you.
Or if he would have been there for her when she was in her time of need. Because the
Absolutely.
protection thing, you are
Absolutely.
correct. Like the providing thing, yeah, that's a little bit not negotiable. But as a man, if you're reacting like that when I almost just died,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm now no longer attracted to you in any way, shape, or form. I feel like that's the bitch move.
That
That's the
was my point. That's where I was
Yeah.
like,
But that was
what
more
do I
like
actually want?
that was like the final straw, right?
That was my final straw.
Yeah,
And then
before that, it's like he's leaving the other pieces out.
He made that final.
I hadn't
straw
even
easy.
realized he had cheated on me yet. I was still staying strong. I was still trying to make it work. I was like, we can do counseling. Like, what do you need? I can fix this. Let me fix this.
And that's a traditional woman mindset: is to
Mhm.
stick by your man.
I want to fix
and
this.
most of us start off that way, especially around
and
that
it
age.
wasn't fixable.
Me
When,
too.
when you guys got pulled over, was he like crying?
Yes,
Yeah.
I told him to swallow. It was a nugget of weed. A nugget. I said swallow it. He said he started crying and freaking out.
That's
So
a
I was
lot.
like, okay.
That's scary.
Come on.
That right there.
I'm telling you, it's a Zoomer. It's a Zoomer.
But I was like,
Zoomer
okay.
man.
I was like, he was in football and I didn't want to risk his career. So I was like, you know what? It's mine. It's all mine. I take the charge.
Damn.
So he thought his whole sports career was over, basically.
hmm Even though his whole team smoked weed and their coach got him out of it. So I didn't have to do that for anything.
Probably would've got out of it.
Was it like D1 or some shit? Or
He was D1. We moved to Tahlequah, which is not D1. They had never won a game. And then he ended up being the face of that school. And then because he got all that recognition that he wasn't getting at the D1 school,
You thought he was a shit.
He thought he was a shit.
Well, I mean, he was a shit there.
He was a shit there. But I was like, man, I was there before anybody was screaming your name. Like, what the fuck?
All right, cool. Well, Des, you had any
Yeah.
question you want to bridge off of this, or anything in general?
I'm gonna start with like some dating questions. So around the room, for you, like, what's the worst date you've been on? You go on this side.
Ah.
Alcoholics over here.
Yeah, side that's not.
Worst date I've been on. I've been on very few dates. Men of this generation don't like to take you out on dates. It's weird. It's weird. Most dates are like, let's go to the movies, where we don't talk.
How old are you again?
I'm 24. Yeah, it's sad. Or
Oh, no,
they'll
I was gonna say that's.
or they'll be like, let's go to the bar so we can get drunk.
Saying fuck you.
Yeah, let's fuck. That's what
Let's
it
do
is.
brunch. I love brunch. They know you don't, motherfucker.
No, you don't. Because
Wait,
what if
what?
we in a relationship and then I try to take you to brunch? You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
Wait, who the fuck is doing brunch?
Bro, on Hinge,
Yeah, that's true. That's a weird date.
every other profile on Hinge says, I love brunch mimosas. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. You just
I don't
wanna
know. I
go
love nighttime. That's go that evening. Things wind down. Things feel calm.
I would say the worst date I've been on, I was at the movies and the guy started crying. We were watching a horror film.
Sorry.
He started crying.
I'm sure it was sad.
This
No,
was a different guy from the
it
other.
was not sad.
I'm crying right now.
No, here's okay. So he started crying in the middle of the horror film. And then
I'm no punk bitch.
then he proceeds to tell me that he has schizophrenia. So I feel bad for him.
Oh, no.
And I go with him to make sure he's okay.
Oh, I'm going home.
I didn't realize his home was like an hour away from where we were. So I'm just riding along this convertible like da 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 da.
Was this the football guy or this was a different
No,
guy?
different guy.
So you're like criers.
No.
Yeah, she likes emotional men.
I would love for a man to be in tune with his emotions, like in a functional sense.
Oh, man. A man crying will turn me on so quick. We're having a serious
Right there,
conversation.
yes.
Straight up,
No,
I'm like,
no,
"Huh,
it doesn't.
Yes.
Come on.
Are you kidding me? Yes. My last
fact-
boyfriend, I started believing this bullshit because we were having this conversation. He started tearing up about thinking about the traumas of his family and everything.
Okay,
else. I
but
was
what
like,
did he do before that?
What do you mean?
Okay,
Not a
so-
whole lot. Like, he took me on one date. I mean, I paid for like the first round. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I just liked the way he spoke to me, and I liked the way he's talked to me, and it validated me at the time because I was a little bit low on that. And so it was just the conversation
And
connection.
what do he look like?
Very handsome.
Okay, so he spoke to you well, and he was handsome.
And he's an
I feel like-
artist, and I'm an artist, so I get really
Mhm,
hooked on that
okay.
whole romanticism artist thing. Hey, he got me good, trust me. I ain't got to go right now.
Yeah, things like that. I feel like emotional shit. Like, if it's there, it's usually like there's like 7 things you checked off before that, where it's like this. It's like okay, then
Then he gets the pass.
But
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
the thing:
To a
more
degree.
often than not, men won't cry in front of you. So for them
Yeah.
to cry in front of you is it's such an intense thing. You're like, why do they have to
I
get
feel
to
special.
this point
I feel
for
special.
you to get there?
And also, y'all can stop shooting yourselves in the foot when a woman tells you something. You're like, no, like, because you don't know, we do. So if we're telling you something, that is how our individuals experiences, and we're trying to let you know women like us do exist.
but there's like you said, it's an individual experience.
So there's a lot. So you
So
heard
there's
too.
a lot of experience.
I'm not the only woman in the world that thinks that it is attractive when a man is vulnerable emotionally.
Yes.
But I just said there's a prerequisite to it. I didn't disagree with you.
To a degree, I knew him for like 2
Yeah.
months before.
What's the
That's it.
prerequisite?
Well, for you, like you said, they were acting like bitches before that, or they were doing things you didn't like. So once they
Right.
cried, it was like a breaking point. 'Cause there's other things they were doing. So it's like the cheating.
That's
the
because
other
also the
things.
guy was manipulating to crying in the
But
car.
it was 2 of them. So it's like two people where you see there's like signs before that where they're not doing the shit they need to do.
Right. But also, if I think about it, if I started crying on a first date, a man would be like, "What the fuck?" That's a human thing.
That was my
Someone's, like,
initial
breaking down
reaction.
in
I was
front
like,
of you
what
all
the
of a sudden,
fuck?
you're
Are
like,
you okay?
I don't know if I can fix this. This is a lot to take on. I don't have a connection with you yet, so I don't know how to help you. And I feel like you would do this to anybody that was in front of you right
As
now.
many-
It's not special.
As many women I've heard say like they like an emotional man, I've also heard like 10 times that many say like dude who cries is like a bitch.
Well, then they're damaged. They need to heal and understand that
Absolutely.
men should be allowed to be just as, that's why the sassy conversation is bullshit. When we're like, a man's so much, he's being so sassy. I'm like, no, we have asked for y'all to be more emotionally available. Shut the fuck up with the sassy shit because we need men to be more honest. We need to be more be honest. I mean, there is some that are
What's
dead ass
emotional
sassy.
available to you?
vulnerable is really what I meant, not available.
Okay.
That's a different thing. That's dating. I say more emotionally vulnerable, like they can express themselves. You
Yes.
express the things that are bothering them. They express the things that upset them, and they're not afraid to show that emotion. But unfortunately, we've raised little boys to be little boys
That's
that don't
different
cry,
than being emotional, though.
I know,
So many
emotionally
men think that
vulnerable,
they
not
can't be
emotional.
vulnerable.
That's
Yeah.
different. You have no control of your emotion as a man. Well, that hits our
So
nervous
it's more so
system.
like understanding like how you feel, explaining
Expressing it, yeah.
expressing
Well,
it well.
Overly emotional man's dangerous to women. Our nervous system,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
our
for sure.
instinctually, we pick up on that when a man is emotionally unstable. That means we're unsafe because y'all can kill us with just one punch, right? So if you have a man that's emotionally unstable, that means he could lash out, freak out, and you could be the punching bag. And he'll be like, "Oh my god," because y'all will black out because y'all process emotion different. So it's dangerous to be with emotionally unstable man. So yeah, overly emotional can be dangerous.
That's why I believe the second phrase more. Like I understand it more because it's like understanding your emotions is different than actually being emotional or like
Right.
crying
I
and things
agree.
like that. It's like at that point there's something different because you actually
Mhm.
understand yourself.
Right.
So for you, worst date.
First date.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So this one time I was talking to this guy, right? And we decided to go on our first date. So he says, "Where do you feel like going? I want to take you somewhere that you
terrible
like."
start.
Yeah.
You're winging it.
Yeah, he's winging it.
Right,
Yeah.
one.
All right. So then I tell him, like, you know what? Like, I want to go to Texas Roadhouse. He says, all right, cool. He picks me up. We go. We're talking. Once it's time to pay, and we get
No.
the check, he looks at me like
No.
he literally sits back like
He's a brokey.
I was like
I like the commitment though.
it's like
It's not just like going to the
he
bathroom.
didn't ask me. He didn't say let's split it. He just said here, and I looked at him and I said, "What? You can't pay it?" He said, "Well, you wanted to come here, so."
Oh, you
So immediately, my first thought was like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw my the fucking plates at him." But I was like, "Nah, like I'm gonna calm down."
Yeah.
You should have. You should have.
Frisbee.
So I got the receipt and I was like, "Where's the waitress?" Fuck it, I'm gonna go and look for her. So you know how they be like at those registers that are
Mhm.
in the corners or whatever. I went up to her and I said, "Here, just pay for my food, not his. Give him a separate receipt."
Yes. See,
So they hand him a receipt to him, and he said, "What is this? You didn't pay?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I paid for my food because this is what I wanted. So I'm gonna pay for my food. You can pay for yours. That's fine, right? You have money. You liked your food. You ate your food. You can pay for it."
What did he say after you told him that?
All of a sudden,
Get emotional.
no, he didn't get emotional. He said, "I didn't bring my card with me. Do they take Apple Pay?" I said, "No, they don't." He said,
he had no
She
intention.
said, I swear I'll pay you. And I was like,
You should have let that man wash
Fif-
dishes.
it was $15.
Oh shit! Well, did you pay for it?
Yeah.
So you went through that whole route of separating it, and you still paid for it?
Yeah. At that time when it happened, I had a day job. I was a dancer. So that's nothing.
belongs to the streets.
Be respectful.
So we get home and he still expects me to have sex with him.
Oh, no.
I told them don't.
I would love to
Yeah.
have been strong, be honest.
I mean, you paid for him. I thought you cared.
Did he pick you up?
Yes, we went back to his house.
Wait,
What up, bro?
So he didn't give you the option to go
Yo.
home?
This guy's already a weirdo in general from dinner. Yeah, abort.
There was a lot of things wrong with this guy, and he had 3 cars, and he said we had to switch out.
Wait.
What?
how
I'm
did you get to this
confused.
place?
He's a criminal.
Also,
you-
when
did
you're,
you
when
drive
you're on
this
along
place,
for the
or-
ride, you got
Yeah.
to
Okay,
go
okay.
with it.
And you wanted to be a detective?
Man,
Well, she
So-
learned a lot from these experiences.
Yeah, so the car, he was like, okay, so we're gonna get into this car, and so I'm like, okay, he started like like grabbing my thigh and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, "What?" He was like,
Oh, you really
"No,
like
I don't."
He
I
just
don't
said,
know. I don't know. That's not happening.
I said, "No, I don't. I want to go
Giggity.
home." Then I blocked him after that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's for that reason right there. I won't go on a date unless I know that I can pay for both, because I'm not getting stuck in that situation.
See, that's why I would have put the hostess aside. Hostess aside, I'd be like, hey, yo, I was on a first date. He's trying to make me pay for his. I'm pay for mine. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all do what y'all want with him. I'm gonna call my Uber right
That right
yeah,
there.
that's what I should have done.
You should have let that man wash the dishes.
Good luck,
And he still didn't pay me.
now.
Oh yeah,
Of course not.
that was done a while ago.
Man,
What was your worst date?
got a couple. Actually, should we go like with weird or scary?
Top two.
I wanna
Scary.
hear
And,
scary.
I want to hear both.
So scary. I was home visiting. I was in Memphis.
Oh
And
yeah, hold the mic to you.
Closer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, please.
I'm
Thank you.
closer now. Okay, so I was in Memphis at the time I was visiting, and there was a producer there who I knew from mutuals, and he, he was involved with some people, so I knew that he was successful. So I was like, okay, so he's really like really a producer. People be like, I'm a producer, but they're not.
Mhm.
So I pulled up to the studio. He was doing like a job at the time, and he was like, "We're gonna go eat after," and it was cool. It was a vibe, right? So we went to go eat. He took me to this like little mom and pop spot, which I'm not bougie, so I was like, the food's good, I'm happy, and we're having a good time. So we get in the car after, and he kisses me, and I let him because we've been vibing. I already knew him previously, and then he tells me, which I'm real thankful that this slipped out of his ass. "Oh, I have a girlfriend. She's still living at my place." I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Okay, well, like, can you just take me home?" And he's like, "No, come on. It's fine. It's fine. Just come to my studio." I was like, "No, I'm going home. Like, take me home." Right? He picked me up. Take me home.
I'm just scratching my
He
head.
pulled the studio was like kind of all the way to my house. So I'm thinking I'm going home. He stops at the studio, and I was like, "Dude, I told you to take me home." And he's like, no, it's fine. Come in. He's begging me. I tell you, I'm on the edge of the opposite seat, the passenger seat. I am in a ball. I'm like, take me home. Take me home. And he is trying to grab me, pull me over. And then he's like, my thought is, and I'm in like an area of East Memphis that really was the best area to be in. So I didn't want to just hop out the car. And he knew that. So I'm throwing a fit though. I'm throwing a fit. I got my phone in my hand, like, take me home. And he starts driving me home. But the whole ride home, he is trying to grab me and pull me over. And I swear to God, at the red light, like two red lights down from my parents' house, I was about to jump out that fucking car, but I was still too scared. Because a woman, you have two different fears. Now you walk on the side of the road by yourself.
Mhm.
Which one is it? The devil you know or don't know. So he ended up taking me home. Luckily, nothing happened to me. But that was the scariest first date of my motherfucking
Before
You
life.
gonna find him on first 48.
Before he said he had a girlfriend, was he like pretty smooth and confident?
Very, very. I mean, he been working with Black Youngsta and Young Dolph on songs. And
Why
he thought
did-
he was the fucking man.
That's what I'm scratching my head. Why did he switch? Why was he like?
I don't know. That's what weirds me out. I'm like, first of all, you really could have. But I think it's because at this point he knew what type of woman I was, and I wasn't gonna fuck him at a studio. So he was trying to get me to do something else, or trying to be honest. Look, this is.
So you already
happening,
knew
and
you
we're
lived with your
broken up.
family?
No, I was visiting.
Oh, okay.
I was back in Memphis
Mhm.
visiting at the time, and I had met him like years prior in Memphis, like mutual. So it was a familiar territory to me, and I didn't see him acting like that. But honestly, that's too why I'm very careful about kissing guys even too on first dates, because you don't know what can click their brain into like primal "I want to fuck you" mode, and then they go fucking ape shit like that guy. Boss his shit, didn't know how to fucking act, but that's his true self that I saw.
Yeah.
And I thank God that I saw that. Thank God that he slipped up. I thank God he acted like a fucking maniac, so I could see that, so I didn't get in a worse situation later.
You met modern Ted Bundy.
Do I?
You met modern Ted Bundy.
Oh, he was on some shit.
Yeah.
No, but this is the second day. The second runner up, he might have been Ted Bundy, bro.
Man, Bundy wouldn't have said he had a girlfriend.
That
He
was
would've
in
said-
Dallas. In Dallas,
And he did have a girlfriend.
He had a
was
wife.
Killing all those
And
people.
kids.
But did he tell them?
No, I probably.
scared. Funny.
He said he was
The guy thought he could talk to the wind, bro. The bad date I went on in Dallas, though, the dude, he was real spiritual. Cool. He brought me like a book and like this notepad for the first date. I was like, oh, this is so cool. A gift. I'll take it. Sure, whatever. Then we went out. We went to Jackson Beer Garden, got some food. We were sitting in the grass, and he's like, I can control the wind. And I was like, hold on. I don't think we're on the same page.
Well,
Like,
could he?
I hope not. I fucking hope not. And
Did
so
you call
at the
the woman?
time, I told my homegirl, I was like, I'm gonna stay at your place tonight, so just drop me off at your place. You know, I'm not getting dropped off at home alone. And so I pulled up, and she was like, well, you can tell him to come in or whatever. I have some friends over. So I pull him into like the complex, and there's like this little garden inside the complex, and then her front door. we close to the door. He's like, no, I don't want to go in there. I don't know who's in there. I'm like, okay, you can leave because I'm really like, let's leave. And I'm just, let's leave. And so I walk inside and I'm like, yo, he's still out there. And she's like, well, he's not gonna come inside. I was like, no, I don't really want him to. So I think I'm just gonna tell him that y'all are tired, so he can just go. And so I walk back outside into like the garden area, and I'm like, yeah, I think they're just gonna go to bed. So I think I'm just gonna, sleep. I'm gonna go to bed. And he's like, so I was out here and I touched the water and I meditated for a second. Did you kiss somebody out here last night? I was like, what? No, wait. What is it? I'm not even gonna answer that question because if I did, it didn't fucking matter anyway. What is going on? And so I was like, I'm leaving. And so I think he's leaving. And then I go inside and her friend is like, yo, there's this dude pacing out front of the complex and it's him. He's pacing. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to try to get him to leave. But y'all, if I can't come back in like 2 minutes, can y'all come out there? Because I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's just working on a tornado.
No, it's something. Oh, God,
He's getting his steps in.
Like, just, he was like, I thought I loved you. And I was like, no, you didn't. I was like, you don't,
No,
I don't know what.
Wait, this is the first date?
Yes. I was
What
like,
the-
we have been having text conversations back and forth before this. That's
Nothing
it.
the love started.
Hey, you wanted him to be emotionally vulnerable, and you got him. So
I had to go to the real dark side of that.
Yeah, that was the title with.
But yeah, so I had my homegirl's boyfriend had to come out there and be like, bro, you're scaring her. Like, you gotta go. And he's like, no, I loved her. And then he leaves. And I'm over here just like, what the fuck?
what if he was fucking with you the whole time and you didn't know it? He's like, man, I can't stand this bitch. I'm gonna fuck this whole date up.
So because the way he was talking, he might be casting spells. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, but yeah.
Maybe he was schizophrenic too. He heard voices.
I think there's something.
So with
Light
all,
was turned off.
that's automatic.
Okay.
For all the horrible dates I've had, like, what are the prerequisites for them to even get there? Other than like hiding money, like, how do y'all filter through? Like, where you're like, okay, this is a red flag beforehand. How do y'all choose those guys who actually get to go on a date with you, spend time with you?
Conversation and how that conversation is beforehand. I do FaceTime interviews, as I say. FaceTime interviews, FaceTime date first. See how it vibes, see how it feels. And then I also pay attention to what they're talking about. If they're hyper focused on my physical appearance versus what I'm about, I'm not gonna hang out with you. If you're like, you're so fine, I'm like, red flag. I'm not into it. Sorry. Like, don't talk to me like in this way of like I'm a piece of ass that you're trying to hook up with at the club. You gotta talk to me like a real person.
Fat ass too, respectfully.
Anyways, I have to kind of go to the bathroom. Like, what do I do about that?
Just go.
Where's the bathroom?
Head out
It's
that way
going
and go
straight
fly.
down the hall.
Yeah.
Just straight.
Yeah, straight.
Okay, I feel like excuse me.
How do
You
you
know-
filter through?
I feel like I have no filter. I need to go on that first date. Like I can't I don't truly know you through like the phone, FaceTime.
You don't, but is there anything you see where you're like, okay, like this is someone I wouldn't give a chance before that? The reason I'm really curious about this because y'all have all said like some really wild stories, and I've heard girls say before I went on a date with them. They're like, oh, like I don't want to do this because of this guy beforehand, or because this guy creeped me out and did this. So they have like steps in place because of people who fucked it up in the past or did weird shit.
You know, I just feel like next time a guy shouldn't ask me where I want to go on a date to.
That's
You
red
should
flag
just-
number one right
You
there.
can
Yeah,
apply
yeah.
that to your
Can't
ex.
lead.
He should have just said like, "Hey, can I take you out? Is it okay? We can meet there." Not let him pick me up.
But can you apply that to your ex like you're doing a first date all over again if you're going to retry that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I applaud you for that.
How about you? What's the filter? Filter through.
My filter is solely based on my feelings. Like, also, here's another thing. So, do not. Do not.
Want to go to the movies?
Yeah,
the
off
mov-
a first date.
the
The
mo-
tear down their face.
the movies are fine. I wouldn't call that a first date
Wait.
because we can't talk. We can't talk. Don't do the movies as a first date. That's a cop out. That's just I'm spending money on you, so come home with me. I don't appreciate that at all. Maybe if there's like dinner first so we can talk, but Other than that, I wouldn't consider the movies a first date. Don't do that.
I feel like that's middle school.
It's very middle school. So it's like I don't appreciate that at all. I want to be able to talk to you. I need to know if like we're gonna click, if we're gonna vibe, because if we don't, this ain't gonna last long. So, but my main thing is do not blow up my freaking phone.
But they care.
No. Here's what I'm talking about. If I don't respond within like 2 seconds and you're double, triple, quadruple texting me, talk about I miss you and this, that, and the third. We've never met. What do you mean you miss me? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't compute. You've never
Just
met
like
me in
that
real
guy,
life.
he loves you.
No. Matter of fact,
He
so
imagined it instead before he met you.
me and my old manager have this like ongoing joke because the dude that she was dating was crazy. So like he was cheating on her, multiple women, Facebooking her entire people, like our entire job site, everyone that was a woman. He was in their inbox on Messenger, and
So
so like she set him up because she knew that he was like stepping out, and she just, I don't know if it was like that she wouldn't believe it, or if like she was just like, I'm so infatuated with him because of this, that, and the third, whatever. That's her business. It's not my story specifically to tell. I'm not using correct words. It's okay.
It's a Bacardi, baby. It's the Bacardi.
Yeah. Yes. But so like she set him up with like one of her friends that lives like way out of state, and within like a day or two he was like, why don't you love me?
Oh.
Yeah. So that became like our ongoing joke. They're getting it tattooed on them. Why don't you love me? I don't even fucking like you, bro. Like, why are you talking to me?
but the love was there, the connection.
The love was not there.
So deep.
There was no deep connection whatsoever.
They felt it.
Here's the thing, like, you cannot be so attached to me within 24 hours that you're calling me nonstop, texting me nonstop. Do not blow up my phone within the first 24 hours.
Scary.
But the chemistry.
Scary as hell.
No, that is stalker energy. I'm good.
But it was love at first sight.
It's extreme
No,
desperation.
that don't exist.
Strictly.
I make up my own language.
Okay, you almost got it.
That's my own language. You can copy it if you like. I call it Kate language. Please learn. But so yeah, that specifically, that is my like absolutely one criteria, is that if you're doing all of that, if you're blowing me up, if you're triple texting me, the second I give you the ounce of attention, I'm gone. You're a problem.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
One other thing you also you mentioned is like when guys take you out and spend all this money, they're expecting sex at the end of the day
Mm-hmm.
or whatnot. I got a question for each one of y'all ladies. Have y'all ever went out on a date knowing, hey, I want to fuck this dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you know?
He's very attractive. I want to fuck him. I want to know what it's like. I get. That's what I do.
I think it's human nature. We're sexual beings.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I'm very blunt about this shit. I don't care. If you are very attractive and I want to know what you got going on, I'm going there with you.
Physically?
Physically, yes.
Yeah, I've had some first dates where they just had like a take home bag already. So wait, what?
Home back. I got specifics for you at home. I got the extra toothbrush and everything you
No,
need.
we were ready. I was like, what?
But
Oh my god.
my thing is, so the first time that I sleep with you, man, that's a trial run. If we're not compatible sexually, I'm not going to last long in this relationship. I'm going to be honest with you.
Wait. How many times did a trial run?
One.
One.
If it's not good the first time, I'm not coming back.
Not coming
I'm
back.
so bad. If I don't think I'm gonna finish, I'll be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. You're done. We're
You
done.
had to ask me, did you come? You don't. No.
Did you come?
No. And I will tell you, I'm not going to sit here and flake with you.
I appreciate them asking those.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that care. Good. I'm glad.
Yes, you care, but no, you
No,
didn't do
if I
what you
didn't,
did.
no.
I can help you. I can teach you if you want to learn.
My thing is, if it's almost there, I'm like, oh, there's potential. We can make this work.
If there's
You just don't know
potential,
about it
that's
yet.
fine.
That's fine.
But if I'm sitting there and I'm just like, man, is this over yet?
Tap it on the
Yes. I'm looking at the
No.
ceiling like the girl off of Bridgerton. Like, oh my God, is it almost
No,
over?
so that now I feel like I used to just be like wait till it was over, but now at my age I'm like at the moment I start to feel any way like that, I end it. I mean,
Or if
whether
I'm
I just be
sitting
like,
there
I'm
thinking, can I
good, or I'm
feel
like,
it?
ah, it hurts now.
Is it
doesn't.
in
I
yet?
want you to stop though because you're not going anywhere.
No. I was like, if I don't have compatibility with you sexually, there is no future in this relationship whatsoever. I
Me,
fully
think it's
believe
like
in
a thing
trauma.
where it builds up, but obviously it needs to be somewhere in the middle first. Like it shouldn't.
Right.
I'm not saying
like
it
you
should
said,
be great.
Yeah.
But if there's absolutely no potential there, if I know that this was absolutely awful, I'm not continuing. In fact, I'm not letting you finish. We're done. Get off me.
There's some one where I was like, it was alright, and then like later on it built up. Like once we like,
It's fine.
But
once we connected, once we like knew.
There's
Right.
a difference between I and this is fucking awful.
Right.
If I'm sitting there like, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Oh, you're talking about
Can
like
you
I
get
want
off
to go
of me?
home now.
If
Like,
I'm
Right.
looking at you with utter disgust, there's a problem.
Like you have put your hand on the side of my vagina. You don't even know what the vagina is.
Yes. Talk about you like that, baby, while you're rubbing my thigh.
wait.
Oh, that's worse. That's worse. That's not even.
Wait,
It's
it's
a
not
mark.
on the
And they're like, you like that? I'm like,
It's not, it's
No,
not
but
right
he
there.
thought it was on the side.
He thought it was up there. He was like, oh yeah, you like that? Full circle. So I was like, maybe if it was in the right spot.
Hell, more than one thing.
I know. I had no
I
idea.
thought-
I had no idea that was a thing.
oh my god.
Man, what is the most? What turns y'all off the most whenever having sex with a dude? Like, is there any one thing that a guy does that you're like, damn, what the fuck? Like,
If he starts doing porn talk.
What's porn talk?
Okay, so for example, one time I was looking up this guy.
Yeah,
baby, you like how big this dick is? Yeah, you like that shit. Like the way it's like, it sounds like it's
Yeah.
fucking scripted.
Wait.
And I'm like, dude, you're watching too much
Is it the
porn.
voice or is it what he's
But
saying?
here's the thing. I
I
actually
I
like
don't know if
that.
this is the woman's intuition, but I can feel the
I do.
disingenuous energy in the way they're saying it. But then there was this
Mm.
one time
He's
where this
faking
guy was
it.
like, "You like this big black dick and that little white pussy?" And I was like, "Not anymore."
I take it back.
In fact, I'm blocking you after this.
Reverse.
You brought the ancestors in it.
I was like, "Why are we talking about colors right now?" So you got a fetish. You got a fetish, buddy. All right, I'm out.
But no, I love that. I love when you're talking to me. If you're absolutely
Right.
silent,
No, that's weird.
I hate you.
Like, but you can tell when it comes to like.
Wait, you don't like mine?
No. Why are you silent?
Just fill it out.
No. No. It's so awkward if you're silent. You don't understand how much women want you to moan. Please fucking moan. We want to hear it.
Just for understanding, I'm poking around.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain this to me.
But please moan. Please talk. Please do something other than just pump and be like, yeah, I'm the man.
Micro penis gang. And I'm gonna bring it back around to best date.
Best date?
Yeah, like why was the date stellar? What do you do? If you got one, you can.
I do.
I'm glad you do because I don't.
Yeah, okay. You go first then if you got one.
So this guy, right? That I, for some reason,
Was it your
can't.
ex?
Alright,
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
Like, let's see. Okay.
It's fine. Wasn't doing it.
There's my baby father, and then
Yeah.
there's a guy that I, did date.
Mm-hmm.
I was in
Oh,
a
that's
serious
a process.
relationship with him. I consider him my ex, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So with my ex, he, he took me out. We didn't go to.
We did. I was answering a question.
Okay. He took me out. It was nice. We're talking. He was asking me a lot of questions about my family and, just personal stuff. We got along good. And I liked that after that he didn't expect sex from me.
The first date?
He's playing it cool.
One of
Respect.
I had already seen him before.
But this is the first of official date.
Mhm.
Okay.
And he just said I'm glad I'm getting to know. He just seemed like he cared about me.
Do you think he was fucking? Okay, I'll explain, but
Explain now.
okay, I'll go ahead. I feel like there's like that certain moment, like there's those guys like when they like you, they like
Yeah.
you. If they're already like, it's already good. Like,
Yeah.
they've already got sex. It's like they want value now. Like, they want like a real
Mhm.
relationship because they're fucking. So like
Yeah.
when they're talking to
fine.
you, it's like, yeah, like I'm just here
Yeah.
to get to know you because
Yeah.
I'm already fucking.
Okay.
No, I'm asking, I'm asking her. She's the one- this is her date.
if he says the thing, I'm already fucking.
No,
No,
it's
but I
like,
mean, you
I'm
have a
saying the
point.
energy. The energy.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
have-
oh, he's
I feel like sometimes with people you can just tell whether like
they're
when
good.
it's just sex, like this person just wants to fuck, like that's all it is.
Yeah, they're thirsty.
Yeah,
And he wasn't thirsty. He's like,
No.
I just want to get to know you.
yeah.
Smells like a lot of like quality time. That's
Mhm.
how you know a lot
Yeah.
of times. And two, I mean, one of the biggest green flags is a man not trying to have sex with me the first time he meets me. In fact, if he only compliments me in a really respectful, like you're beautiful, you look really good tonight, that kind of stuff, that's good. When you're talking about other things, and saying other things, and
That
showing
ass too, respectfully.
that, and when you're talking about like kind of lustful comments, and I know where your head's at, you know what I mean? And then I make that decision. Okay, do I just want to get my rocks off, or do I want to, get to know this person? Well, if I want to get to know this person, it's a red flag. If I was going to get my rocks off, then fuck it.
Yeah.
You can talk to me like that, but that depends on where you're at in your life and everything else.
Give
me
me
some
some
booty.
booty.
Yeah, but some booty.
So I don't have a perfect date, but can I ask a question of sorts? So like every man has asked me this question at least once. They were like, "What's your perfect date?" My perfect date is really fucking simple. I just want a
These
fucking
nuts.
picnic. No.
The timing is immaculate.
all I want is like a picnic by like a park or by the lake. Like I want
Man, yes.
just a picnic.
Wait,
Like you can
so
pack Lunchables
perfect
and
date?
you
That
can
was my
pack
best
Lunchables
date.
and a candle, and I'll be happy. That's my perfect date, and not once, not once.
Mm.
So why are you asking what my perfect date is if you have no intentions of recreating it whatsoever? And mine is so simple.
Yeah, and why would people? I don't
Because it's too
understand why
public
guys
and
would
they
even
can't-
ask that though.
Right?
And then not do it.
I would feel like that would be
It
the
doesn't
blueprint
matter,
for like
like-
your first, because like when you're getting to know each other, and you're like, so like, what's your perfect date? I don't know why that's like a top 20 question.
Oh, I've never asked that.
Yeah, I don't like the first
Yeah,
date.
like that's just fucking
No, you
weird,
should
bro.
get to know
Like,
the girl and figure it out.
Every fucking time I've talked to somebody, that's top 20 questions.
They've asked you that, really?
Yes,
Mm.
damn, that
and I'll
shit-
tell them, and it never happens. I don't know. I don't understand why. Because it's not like I'm asking for a lot. It takes like $20
Maybe okay.
at max, and that's
Even
if you're going all out.
the people who ask that question
Mhm.
don't get far enough to get that date. So like they go on that first date and it's like so disappointing they never get to give you that date because you're like, nah, why would I fuck with this person again? So everyone who asked that question didn't even.
I'm
pass the
giving you
first
something
filter.
simpler than the movies. You can
No, no,
have a
no, no.
Lunchable and it's a candle, and I'll be happy.
What I'm saying is I feel like that's not like a first date thing. I feel like that's someone like you actually vibe with already, and
Mhm.
then you take them on
That's the
something like
first
that.
date. I think the best first dates are the neutral ground, low cost dates because it puts
Yeah.
less
Facts.
pressure on
True.
the date.
Facts.
Yes.
So like, you know that this man's not paying all this thing to expect something because really you put yourself in more danger when you go with
Yep.
someone who's going to spend
That's
all
how
this
you
in the
get
first date
finesse.
because they might be in a transactional state of mind where now you're basically like a glorified prostitute in their head where it's like, I'm going to pay this, she going to fuck me. That's how a lot of guys go about dating, and it's fucking bullshit. That's why I say neutral ground. In fact, when I had a dating profile, it was like, let's do something low cost. Let's go to ice cream. Let's go to the park. Let's do, like you said, one of my favorite dates was somebody picked me up at 11 o'clock in the morning with Einstein Bros bagels and took me to White Rock Lake, and we sat crisscross on a blanket in front of the lake and talked.
I just want to
it was-
swing on a swing set and eat a
Right.
I
snow
think the
cone.
problem
Keep it
with like neutral
simple.
ground, like you said, is like it's so much easier to have a vibe.
Yeah,
Like-
that's the whole point. Is you really see the most raw version of them without the alcohol, without a quiet place that they feel is controlled in their space or their home, their favorite bar. You're going to a mutually neutral space. That's how I actually get like multiple big dogs to interact. Is like so they don't fight. Is like put them in a neutral space
Yeah.
so that you can see how they're going to react without all the expectations around them. You're both kind of out of your comfort zone a little bit, and you see them more raw.
What
Also,
about-
I'm just very comfortable at a park.
And that
I'm in with
part-
my inner child. I want to
And that
play.
part. And that part. It's very important. That's your more authentic self. Right
Yes.
there.
If you're not okay with my most authentic self, if you're not okay with like my little childish whimsy,
Or having fun.
we're
doing
not gonna
nothing.
work. Like I need to know that you can do that with me. If you can go and sit at a park and play on the swings with me and listen to R&B music at 2 a.m.,
Right.
then we're straight.
Right. Exactly.
I think though a lot of guys that have the game mixed up and they'll take girls out on these expensive dates. That's because either one, they're simping, or two, that they've been with other women that
Mhm.
feel entitled,
Yeah.
like
not
they
both?
deserve
Yes,
that shit.
100%.
Even both, yeah.
Yeah.
It could definitely be
I
both.
feel like
Most
it's usually,
definitely.
yeah.
Another point they're trying to show you what they can provide is that they have the money and the finances
They
to show
usually
you that
don't.
they can impress you like
Right.
this. And it's not consistent. It never is. But they want to show you like, hey, I can do this, and this for you. So that I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to impress you with new experiences and new things that you've never experienced. You are thinking so simple.
I feel like
Let
a
me
huge
show you
part
how
of the-
elaborate it could be.
A huge part of the people who like try to blow you away like that don't even have the money to do that.
No, they
It's
don't.
like-
It's never consistent.
They're like dipping out of their savings
Yeah.
to go up.
They have to say
They're-
throughout
the
the
next
week
day is
to-
at Chuck E. Cheese. I actually, you know, I will say that was probably my best day. Is that we went to Chuck E.
That
Cheese
sounds fun.
religiously, and I fucking loved it.
That sounds fun.
I loved it so much. We got to play and be kids. That was the football guy. I love the Chuck E. Cheese. I loved the Chuck E.
well,
Cheese.
You were young.
Yeah.
I had so many questions. I was like, wait.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Even right now,
Are you sure that's why he was there?
even right now, I would love for a man to take me to Chuck E. Cheese. I want to play games. Let's go and play and be fun and have fun and not have like all this pressure to be extravagant and adults. Why? Why?
Because we're adults.
Adults can't have fun?
Yeah, you got
They
to
can't play
child
games?
alive.
You can have fun. Just
It doesn't have to be Dave and Buster's where we're drinking and playing the same games. Dave and Buster's is an adult Chuck E. Cheese. Let's be real.
there's so
What's
many
the
better
difference?
adult Chuck E. Cheeses than adult Dave and Buster's.
I disagree.
I like
There's like
that.
5 better.
Do you know how
fucking things.
competitive I am about those motherfucking tickets? I'm giving you a big prize.
You know, the
Oh,
guy that was
shit.
crazy and could control the wind, he took me to Dave and Buster's. He won me a unicorn.
All right,
my
so
dog,
there you go.
my
First
dog
red
chewed
flag,
it
Dave
up.
and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's.
Man, I got a question for the fellas though. Like, do y'all think guys that are actually out here and spending all this money on first dates, do you think they're trying to overcompensate for other areas that they lack in?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've only spent that much money once, and I had a few drinks, I had a few margaritas. That was the only time I like actually like blew on like, that first date. I was like, oh shit, but it ended well, so it's okay.
Bro, we got to
Yeah.
have a future show, get the fellas together and have a future show about date spots.
Oh yeah,
Oh, we should
Dude,
do
we
that,
need,
yeah.
we need to do that, bro.
I got you.
Yeah, because I got so many shit.
I just need you to have like one woman on here to tell you whether or not that's an actual good idea or if you're just playing.
I mean, it's been verified
I got an answer.
Yeah.
You know,
by the people who went on the date.
yeah. Shit.
Well, we gotta believe what y'all say about people.
Yeah, but anyways, I got
No, we don't.
a response to that. So here it is.
It doesn't matter what you.
If it works, it works.
And what was your best date?
So one of them was the park date that I mentioned, where he picked me up with some bagels, and then we just sat and talked and had heart to hearts. That was really nice.
It doesn't matter how it makes you feel.
I'm trying to think of as far as like best dates. I mean, I did have, but this isn't like a first date. Like my
That's
ex
fine.
of my first love. Let's put it that way, from high school. Like, the last 2 girlfriends he was with after they broke up, he hit me up. Right, the first one, it didn't really work, but it's 10 years later. Right, he hits me up and he's like, look, I just got out of this relationship and it was really bad. What happened? And and he's like, my brain just kept telling me to call you. And I was like, of course it did. So we're talking and he's like, look, I live in Palm Springs. Let me fly you after the weekend. You don't have to do anything. I have a spare bedroom. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you want, but the beach. So he flew me out and then he took me to a resort and took me on a date to a steak dinner. He went above and beyond with everything. But what was crazy is as he was doing more and more, I started to feel more and more uncomfortable. Where I was like, why are you doing all this, investing all this? What is happening? What is wrong? And I know him pretty well, so I realized he was a little bit of a guilt because he was looking for someone to make him feel better
About what?
about him and the breakup, everything that just happened, the heartache
Mhm.
he just went through. And I was his comfort zone because I was his first love. So he's looking for that. And so the whole thing was, I mean, as far as what he did for me, most extravagant fucking date went on for like 3 days or some shit, like beautiful. But ultimately I realized that a lot of that was because he felt bad because he knew that he was just basically using the fact that I would make him feel comfortable and getting happy for a minute. Right. And so the guilt was all over him. But it was beautiful. And why to me, it doesn't traumatize me or bother me because we talked about it. He was like, look, I really love that you're here. I love this, and I'm really thankful. And this helped a lot, but it also made me realize I gotta actually take a break from dating because you're reminding me of that happening. And now I'm like sad as shit. And like I knew before he
So
said it
just
because
like in the middle of the day?
this
or
is
like
the
at
last
end?
day. The last
Okay.
day. And he
Yeah.
starts telling me this, and I was like, I can already tell. You started getting more closed off, especially after we hooked up. Because eventually, I was like, fuck
Yeah.
the spare bedroom.
Yeah.
Let's go. I know this dealers. You know what I'm saying?
But can we talk about that? Like people bringing baggage into dating relationships?
Right, exactly. And I respect him so much for sitting there and being able to admit that he had too much baggage
Mhm.
to actually go forward with it. And he was like, it took me doing all this to realize that. And I'm so sorry. I was like, no, I'm thankful you said that. Thank you for saying that. And I had an amazing time. You treated me like a fucking queen. And we're good. You know, I always got you if you need me.
Mhm.
Just call me.
I like to make it like a fun little Jack in the
So I get
Box.
married.
What do you mean a fun little Jack in the Box?
See, oh, surprising! I'm not ready.
Right. That's kind of how it felt. But I just,
Yeah.
I kind of went into it. And here's my thing too. I tell women, like when you go on a first date or hang out, especially if a guy you either have a connection with already or you're really excited about, go into it, talk to yourself and say, I'm just here for the experience. I'm here to learn what I need to learn and take what I need to from this experience. And I trust myself to walk away if it's not what's for me. And you kind of then go into it that mindset. And then whatever happens, you're able to process that easier and move forward in the way you're supposed to. So yeah, I was a little disappointed, but did I? No.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I've had a few ask me like no-brainer questions, like why did it end, or like how long has it been that way? Like they already know. It's like, okay, like,
Right.
it's been like soon.
And that's the thing. It's already
Yeah,
it had
yeah.
only been a couple months, and I
Mhm.
knew him really well, so I
Yeah.
had a feeling that was a possibility already. So I already kind of knew that was a possibility, but I went into it with that knowing and that realistic view of it. But I didn't get that mindset until I was like at least 27.
Yeah, I like to be pretty blunt about that shit, just to clear it out of the way. So it's like
Yeah.
we can have fun without expectations, or we can be serious without like the.
And that's
the
what I tell
bullshit.
like my guy friends. I'm like, you know, it's more playa if you can tell the truth and still get what you want. And a lot of times, if you give a woman all the cards, I mean, whether it depends, obviously, some of us are a little unstable, but like if
Yeah,
you give us
there's
all
a
the
few.
cards, if you give us all the cards and we make the choice to do it anyways, that gives us a little bit more power. Where if it doesn't work out, we're less heartbroken than when you fed us a bullshit story and a bullshit narrative to get that far, and then now we're let down. It's a whole different letdown. You know, but again, that's going to vary between women because some women you can tell them like, "Hey, I don't want to be with you," and they're like, "I don't believe you."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's
They're like,
kinda
I
how-
want to change you.
Yeah, but
You want me.
there's definitely been somewhere it's like, like no, I don't believe in. There's somewhere it's like, okay, let's just have fun then. Like, done deal.
Exactly, and then you learn as you age the discernment to know which type of woman you're dealing with before you get your tires slashed. You know, you gotta figure out what type of woman you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Because by the time she's slashing your tires, you already knew she was gonna do that shit. You knew it was a
Yeah.
possibility.
So when y'all are in that phase, like, what's the sign where you know that guy is not going to take you seriously? Or you know he's playing games.
that's furious. That's
kinda
red. I'm
consistency.
seeing red.
No, like what are the signs? Like what do you see? Where like, okay, like I know he's bullshitting me, or I know it ain't gonna
That
happen.
depends on how denial you are.
It depends on the consistency of things and how it started versus how it's going.
Mm.
You know, like if you start hot and heavy and then you back up like immensely initially, I'm gonna be like, all right, there's something going on, and
But
I'll
what
wait and
happens
I
if
wait
it's
for
the
them.
opposite.
Well, that's a good thing. If it starts all slow and then heats up, and like that's to me shows more interest because he took a minute. Because men, like that's what I like to see a man who's like he's trying to figure out what type of woman I am. So he takes a second to ask the right questions and understand, and then he puts it on heavier. Then I'm like, okay, so you're getting it. But if like you love bombing me from the date 2, tell us we're soulmates.
If
Watch
I
out.
may, I'm trying to figure out some personal shit right here, right? So
How do you feel?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I've been entertaining someone for a while, and
Why is it a while?
that's what I'm trying to figure
What's a while?
A
out.
year?
Since December.
Well, that's not
Oh,
too bad.
that's
That's
almost-
not too bad.
No,
That's
that's
not too bad.
It's a long
It's a long
time.
time.
It's almost a year.
It's a long time.
I got a 4-year little.
What the
But here's the thing, right?
That's a lot. That's a
That's
Here's
too
the
long.
thing, right?
Half a century.
No dates.
wait. What?
No dates.
Damn, he's good.
Out of the blue, this man is trying to take me to LA.
Take you where?
LA.
Oh.
For New Year's for a week.
to do
Wait. Let's take one step back.
a week.
How did you get to the point where there was like no dates?
So there was
Did you have like built up chemistry before?
Y'all
no,
are-
no.
Y'all are hanging out, or
We were hanging out. Like I've been at his place. Has been at mine, and like just talking and shit like that.
Yeah, that's not how no dates works.
Well, yeah. And so like, I don't know like what's going on in this man's brain. Like I'm trying to show him like all the things that I'm capable of, all the things
Don't
that
do
I can do. to a minimalist view. I'm not like providing or anything like that. I'm not cooking dinners, whatever, because you're not showing me that effort. I'm not showing you that effort. So
Wait, what's the minimal version of showing no effort? Because I mean, it feels like you're showing effort if you're still going on.
what effort?
You're still there.
Yes, I'm still there.
He's enjoying it.
Is he?
He's still there.
Yeah,
He's
it's
getting
been
what he
almost a
wants.
year.
With no dates.
But that's how he feels in that moment. That's his mode
He
right now.
tried to do a date once, and then like
That's once.
once.
Yeah.
That was like when that's when we were like really, really, really talking. Now things
Yeah.
are like complicated and weird. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So wait, what happened? He asked you on a date and like you canceled or?
No. We were gonna go on this whole date thing. I felt like it was an excuse, but I don't know. I'm trying to
Did
give
he
benefit
cancel?
of the doubt. No. He didn't even cancel. It was just he said that because like he stayed in his hometown where his parents are. He works in their like restaurant or whatever. Why?
That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is that a discussion? What's happening? I don't know if I overthink too much or whatever. But so like the initial date was like when Megan was coming out, the little movie about the doll or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to go see that, and then he went to
You
his.
in the movies.
Right,
Yeah,
right?
no shit.
I know.
And crying men.
Oh. Most of them don't cry until I like ready to break
So
up with
you
them, and
could've
then they
typed
start
up.
crying.
Right.
Then they start crying. But so like at the time he was like an hour away. He was supposed to pick me up, right? We were supposed to go on to his movie date or whatever. Supposedly he left his phone at his parents' house.
It's really important.
It was really important. And then the parents went out of town.
Damn, he can't come now.
He can't get the phone. So I'm thinking, I was like either he's dead, he's in jail, or he ghosted me. Like which one is it?
It's the phone, man. He lost it.
That's
Now he-
what he said, and I let it be because I had already acted crazy. I'd blown up the phone. The mom saw the calls. She was like, "This girl is fucking crazy." I'm
Wait,
like, I'm
you don't want
not.
no dude blowing up your phone though.
Mm.
You were about to pick me up. What happened? I had a reason to call.
But blowing it up.
Once.
He's like that
Twice.
one. What's that one lady just like disappeared? Fucking-
48 hours.
The one
though.
who's- the one who's
48
just got
hours, no
kidnapped?
contact.
Oh, you're talking about that one chick?
yeah,
yeah,
the black
yeah.
chick. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got kidnapped. I swear, I saw a baby in the room.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Gone Girl.
Oh no. Well, it's the
But-
girl who got a text from Gone Girl.
Oh, okay.
But that was the only date we'd ever planned, and now he's talking about like, you know, I trust you and da 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 da, and I don't believe you.
I don't believe it either.
Exactly.
Jose said she really wanted to go to Chuck.
Okay, so it's like Chuck E. Cheese, the movies. Why?
I don't like the movies. I think it's a stupid date.
Then why'd you say yes?
Why do you keep going to the movies?
Because I felt comfortable with him. Like we had talked, I'd been to his place. Like I was like, okay.
Hey, she was already feeling him, so you
I
can
was
get away
already
with
feeling
stupid shit,
When
such
you're
as
already feeling somebody, you can get away with so
yeah,
much
such
shit.
as talking
Women will
without
let you
giving
get
out a
away
date
with
for a year.
everything. If there's already feelings involved.
I'd rather someone bury my grave than me go on the movies date.
But so like now everything's like he's just like you. Nah, it's very much you've got to impress me. You got to show me that you're something different, and I'm not fucking with it.
Yeah.
He was like you got to show me that you got to show me something new that I've never seen before for me to even like consider you type shit. I was like,
Yeah, I think you're dead that one. In the grave.
how am I supposed to show you something new if we never see each other outside of your house? Right.
That is the connection. That's the emotional.
That's not the emotional connection.
Y'all bond.
Especially when you don't talk, he won't come up with the topic conversation to save his life. At all.
So you do all the talking.
I do all the talking, and then
Damn,
when
for a
then
year
if I
straight?
talk
This
wrong,
guy's
it's
game.
try again.
For a whole fucking year straight.
Yeah.
And you shut the fuck up. You keep talking, man.
Need to move him out the way so somebody better can come in the way.
I need like so
How's your back feel?
my bad. You're carrying the conversation.
Relationship.
It hurts. So now I'm just because it was the thing that threw me off was the LA thing out of the blue because we hadn't talked for like a while. Like it's very
It's a
much an
cute
on and off
vacation.
thing
It's a cute vacation trip.
with his friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
See,
That's so weird.
I've never met your friends.
He sounds just like he's not mature yet.
I'm hoping that's all that it is.
Yeah, it probably is, honestly, and that's why I feel like the 20 to 25 like era for women. we're
I
just
don't
trying
know
to
who
figure out
hurt
what
him
type of
before
men
me,
we're
but he
dealing
was
with.
hurt when I met him. I know that.
Right. He needs.
Why
Well,
do you
think
say
about
that?
it. Our frontal lobe's not
The way he
developed till
talks.
25, so he's probably still trying to develop.
How did he talk?
He's about to be 26 actually, but
okay.
and he just found out he had a daughter, and like the mom was keeping him away from. It was messy. It was very messy.
Oh, fuck them kids.
Run.
Run.
Run. You've said so many things that are red, beaming flags. He may be cute. He may be
I'll
whatever
be
it is
fine.
that's got
You
you.
mean from the start?
Right, right from the start.
Yeah, from the start he was
Nah.
upfront and honest. He told me like his whole situation with like the girl, the baby mama, and the kid.
Oh, I mean like the whole no date ever for like the last century, things like that.
That's century.
So like you said you were talking to him for a year, right?
About yeah.
Why did you talk to him for that long? Was he someone that you saw like, okay, like this is someone I could be serious
I had
with,
so much
or-
of a connection with him in the beginning. What happened that made him like switch?
Mhm.
Yes.
That was on me. I'll admit that was me. So I got crazy. And to be perfectly honest, when we started talking, I was fresh out of my last relationship. And he had
crazy.
yes. But he had like my last relationship had fucked me up mentally and I was not healed. I was not ready. I was trying to act like I was and I wasn't.
Was the last
When we're
relationship
emotionally
the
unavailable,
football
we
player?
attract.
No.
emotionally unavailable.
How
The,
do you know you weren't ready?
the way
How
that
did you-
the way that I was acting when he pointed it out to me, I was out of character. That was not me.
So you didn't know until he pointed it out?
Yes.
Okay.
And that wasn't me. And the only time that came out of me was when I was like drinking heavily. Like I was drunk.
Yeah.
So
Calling this man, texting this man,
To
telling him all
him.
types of bullshit. Like I don't even know what I was on half the time. I didn't remember it. That's how drunk I was. Like,
She was
And
drunk
that-
in love.
So you were coping. Like,
I was
like,
coping, and
Yeah.
that's out of my character. I don't even get faded like that.
So he wasn't someone that you looked at and like, oh, this could be my
Bef-
boyfriend. Or...
Before I had like started acting crazy, yeah, I did. I was like, okay, I feel comfortable with you. I feel safe with you. Like I genuinely feel this connection with you. And
It also could have been the trauma that was telling you.
It
these
also
things.
could have been
So
the
you could have
trauma.
been like this whole time, and
I
you
was
had a vision in your head because of what you wanted, what you had.
I was like, this feels safe.
So a lot of it, we date an imaginary person in our head, and it's not.
How would y'all
part
know
of us.
you're not ready for a relationship?
Well, recently I've realized like we as women a lot of times like we will be emotionally unavailable because we're such an emotional like people. We have so much we express. We don't realize it compared to y'all. We would be emotionally available even when we are unavailable. But if you're constantly attracting and getting connected and attracted to men who are leaving you confused and unavailable, then you yourself aren't quite as available as you think.
So if you keep on finding trash people, you're probably like unavailable at the time.
To a degree, yeah, because you're looking for someone that is not going to give you that all and that intense, because then it makes you actually have to think about yourself, think about what you want everywhere that you are and want to be. So sometimes we pick what's safe, which is usually toxic guys, to make us feel more comfortable. Plus, then at that point, I know that
How is
I'm
that
I'm
safe?
not
Is
going
it
to.
like-
Toxic
is that-
guys are
is
safe.
that- is
Because
that
it's like
what
they're
you're
not going
familiar
to,
with?
so they're not going to expect anything from me. They're not going to expect better of me, right? So they're not going to make me question my actions and behaviors because they don't care. But this is all subconscious. We're not logically thinking about these things.
But also back to your previous conversation, the fact that so communication
Mhm.
is so important for so many reasons. And I've touched base on this before. It's just that people nowadays, I don't even know if it's nowadays, just in general, do not communicate exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
It is so hard. So many men, women, whatever, will pretend to be like, yo, this is what I want. And it's completely the opposite.
And so they're giving it. And,
They're,
then, and then when you
I
get
want to
it, you're
communicate a
like,
relationship. You screw a couple of times, and then where are you now?
right. And that's because we're not supposed to be treating every connection like it's a forever thing. You're supposed to get past that excitement so then you can settle in and be like, okay, now is this somebody I really can see my life with? You know, and that's what some of my more healthy relationships taught me. It's because once we got past that excitement phase, once we were in this stable stage, it was like, okay, so how do we actually work together in life and as a couple? And then I'd realize, or he would realize, someone would be like, this isn't really, I'm not fulfilled. I feel bored. I feel like there's like, what's next for us? Or like we're setting in different directions. But because that honeymoon phase is over, now I'm not feeling like I have to follow you in that direction. It's like, well, no, that's not really what I want.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's a little bit easier to figure it out. So I think at the end of the day, we all got to just take it a little bit slower.
So I want to bring up a topic with you guys,
Okay,
right?
bring it
It's
up,
something
bring it
that's
up.
been bothering me.
For the streets.
I'm ready.
Hey,
all
Leave her alone.
No, I had a guess what she was gonna say. Oh yeah, that's still better.
So
Yeah.
I told you guys that
Yeah.
I am a dancer. Well, I recently stopped, right?
Wait. What kind of dancer?
You know what kind of dancer.
That type of dancer.
Exotic dancer.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful as she
So-
is, yes.
The last time I was in the locker room with the girls,
Leave her alone.
That's a damn art form.
all the girls
Exactly.
were complaining about them not being in long-term relationships, right?
Mhm.
That makes sense.
So then I started thinking, is it because we're dancers? Because other people, when you tell them like, oh, she's a dancer, I'm a dancer, they say,
I won't lie to you
They
and say
got
that
it.
that isn't probably a part of it.
They got an image in your head. Plus,
Because
y'all are dealing with
your
the work.
whole entire finances is based on you flirting with men, getting them to be like, oh, I want her, I can have her if I pay them enough money. So that's how they're viewing you.
yeah. So
Is that
like,
you're for
basically
sale?
saying like,
Yeah,
sluts, right?
which isn't true, but that's how they're viewing you.
But then I started thinking that maybe that's why we weren't in long-term relationships,
Mhm.
because I try to put myself like, in the guy's shoes. Like, do I feel comfortable
Mhm,
dating a stripper?
mhm.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
It makes it a smaller dating pool.
yeah.
And then you're also dealing with a different type of risk from the men who see that you're a stripper and want to live off you.
You're almost filtering for like the type you wouldn't want.
And you're
Because the
around-
ones who are willing to, usually the ones who are willing to take that risk
Mhm.
are most likely going to be trash. So it's
Yeah.
like,
and you're around some of the worst men. So that's what your reality is being filled with, is the men that are cheaters and misogynists and lustful as hell. So then all you're seeing is that out in the real world, and that's all that's coming to you because that's all you see.
Yeah.
And then that becomes what you think that you can have, and that
So
you
it
can't
makes
do better
sense.
than that. And that's not true.
That makes sense.
So then I got to thinking too, right? Like, there's like male dancers too.
Yeah.
Would I feel comfortable of like, my boyfriend being a dancer?
Would you?
I wouldn't.
Now, plus
Because
stripper
I
girls
know
are
because
cringe.
I know what it's like in the strip club. I know what happens.
But now I have to ask, is that why you quit?
Yeah.
I applaud you.
I
Thanks for being real
quit
with yourself.
because if I'm trying to get back together with my baby father, I feel like being a dancer, like I just wasn't a person that's respectable because I have a day job,
Mhm.
right? I'm in college. I have this, forensics and private investigations certificate. When people look at me and like they find out that I'm a dancer, they're not going to take me serious.
did that have an impact on your relationship before, or is it just a career thing?
No, it's had an impact with my relationship with him and also with the last guy that I talked to. Like,
Was that his like reason for freedom, or
no.
no?
Reason for
But I
freedom, like that
feel
term.
like I understood him a little bit, like that he didn't feel comfortable with, like, in a way, sharing me.
Like, you can't
Because
protect
technically,
you.
like, as a guy and you're dating a stripper, like, you're sharing me
You're
with
sharing
other men.
everything.
You're gonna have to flirt with
Because-
other men.
I'm literally on stage all the way naked.
Yeah.
I have to dance on guys.
Mhm.
So I just felt like I had to stop that. Like, yeah, I just wanted to get y'all's.
Me
How
neither.
long did it take you to stop, like, or why?
It actually took me almost a year for me to stop.
Because honestly, the way because I have friends that do that or other things, and it just seems like it's a bit of an addiction because it's the fast
Yeah.
money, right? And like you're profiting off of like just
The
your
finances
being,
of
your
that.
being,
And not
right?
only that, it's a confidence thing for women.
Right.
You feel so confident on that stage, being completely naked, all these men just throwing money at you because you are so fucking beautiful. You're so desirable. You're so wanted. You feel fucking amazing. It's freeing.
Mm-hmm.
And to have somebody tell you that you're wrong for that, it feels
Damn,
terrible.
you're speaking from experience or something.
And like sometimes I felt like guys just don't take girls that do OnlyFans and girls that are stripper. I feel like guys just don't take them serious because of.
But I
They
also
do.
have to think, like,
Yeah.
I know that there are plenty of women, like, I have a friend, for example, that did do that lifestyle for a while. She did that simply to provide for her kids.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are certain options where you're like, yo, I need money now,
Right.
and I need a lot of it. There are
Right.
so many options where you can do that, especially with little to no education. For instance, if you have a child young.
Mm-hmm. It's 100%. It's a means to an end a lot of times.
It's a
and
means
you have
to
to
an
look
end.
at situations and
It's a means to
why.
an end, but like like anything else, it comes with consequences.
100%.
So-
Absolutely.
100%.
But I feel like a lot of people aren't ready for those consequences.
No, they're not.
So-
And that's why I'm not really against the whole glorification of it. I think that people in the profession have to be honest with the younger ones coming up.
Yeah.
You know, like if you tried nothing else and you are in a position where you have absolutely nothing and you're on the streets, then why are you jumping to OnlyFans? Like, and what are you putting out on there? And the one thing that trips me out too is like when I'm on Twitter and I see someone post their whole sex video on Twitter. And I'm like, subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm like, girl, what? You show
Why
us
are we subscribing?
everything.
You showed everything.
And also, I don't want
But-
to see that on my
It's
Twitter.
a preview.
But if we're being completely honest about OnlyFans, if you had ever tried it, you realize you're not Black China. You are not fucking what's one of the Kindles. I don't know.
You're selling your body
Kardashians,
to
that's what
creep
it
on
is.
Corner.
You're not Kylie Kardashian. You're not making that type of money. You're not.
But it's the hope of it. And there's a lot of people who are like,
There is the hope
the
of it.
girl next door.
But
like
if you're
someone
that
who's-
bold,
yeah.
if you're gonna
And they're
post your sex
busted.
tapes, be a porn star.
Just go full throttle with it.
Go full
And
throttle
you
with
can
it.
date
You'll
a
make
porn
more
star.
money
The
as a porn
man
star.
love porn star girlfriend.
You'll make more money, but there's less control, like anything else. It's like
Right.
So,
That is,
like,
that is true.
since-
because it's just you. So
Yeah.
you're doing your own shit. You choose what you want to do. Obviously, in the other situations, you can choose too, but sometimes you don't feel like you can.
Yeah,
So-
and also the difference is with porn is just just straight videos. With OnlyFans, it's more they're selling out the illusion of a relationship. 'Cause they're,
Yeah,
like,
very true.
they're messaging back and forth, or they're
Mhm.
somebody's messaging for them. So these guys think
Boyfriend,
That, yeah,
some random dude.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh my
thinks
gosh, I love
OnlyFans.
you.
Everyone thinks OnlyFans is easy, and I'm not afraid to admit that I have thought about doing an OnlyFans and going that route, just because I was like, "Hey, easy money." It's not. It's really not. You have to dedicate so much of your time and energy and effort. You have to like service all of these men through messaging, through phone calls, through videos, through requests. Unless you want that to be your entire life, OnlyFans is not for you.
I think it's like a lot of things that are fast money where it can be easy money, but oftentimes it's like those people who got lucky either early on or later on because of like something that's like slightly different about them. And then everyone else actually has like some crazy strategy to them that you don't realize.
But it's very rare. It's
Yeah.
very rare.
Oh, for sure.
So since y'all are guys, how would you feel about dating a girl that that's a dancer and has OnlyFans? Is that someone that you see as respectable and you would take serious, or no?
I think anyone who did, it was just for fun. Like we never like I let them know like I wasn't gonna go that way.
Yeah.
And there's one person like I told them like if they stopped, like I might consider it, but other than that, like I never even looked that way.
Mhm.
I, feel
I
like
do
for
wanna
y'all,
take
it's a
it at
protection
just-
issue too. Like,
That too, yeah.
because
Mhm.
my father was big about that. He said, you know why I get so mad and upset? Because I just want to protect you and your sisters. And so I think too, in y'all's nature, that is a thing where it's like I don't feel like I can protect you from all the men that are looking at you and the things I know they're thinking because I'm a man. And so that kind of eats y'all up a little bit. And what is a
No, you're
Lannister, bro?
Oh, you ever watched like Game of Thrones?
Oh, nah.
Okay, it's like all the like it's basically like that whole family was like very plotting.
I've never seen Game
Oh,
of
you never
Thrones,
saw it
yeah.
either? Okay. Yeah, it's basically like they're like conniving, plotting, like they're up to shit.
But I do want to take it a step further, just a little bit. So there are plenty of women that work at strip clubs that are just bottle girls,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they are seen the same as strippers in the eyes of most of the
Yeah.
male gays, even though they're not taking off their clothes for money. They're not doing all that. They're just wearing an outfit. They're delivering drinks. That's
But
all.
it's still like one step below.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
still flirting. They're still like
Yeah.
catering to those
But that's
people.
the same as any
So,
waitress.
it's
So
like
why are
about
they viewed differently?
Hooters girls or knockoffs?
That'd be one step below
Because
that.
they're
So
at the
it's like
club.
it's
They're at
still-
the club,
it's
not
still
a
like on the
restaurant.
same line. It's like a tower. So you get like
What if
Yeah,
Sergio
Sergio
calls
calls it a fuck girl tier list.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's a
Hey,
good
fuck
that's a
girl
good way of
tier.
explaining it.
Fuck girl tier.
They real though. I'd be like, more power to you, sis. I won't do it, but you do it. It's fine.
It's like the Twin Peaks and Hooters and all that shit like at the bottom. So it's not a huge risk. You're putting yourself out there. You're revealing a little
it's
bit.
literally, I think according to Sergio, that's like at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Donnie?
Yeah, I
Where-
think
where
so.
is he?
Yeah, me and Sergio have beef, but it's okay.
It's okay. We got
That's why he
beef.
didn't show up tonight.
Yeah, it's a tier list that I wouldn't want to deal with like anyone on that list. Honestly,
I have a
like,
guy friend that started dating a girl.
So
that's on
if you were
OnlyFans.
dating a waitress,
That's different. That's not. That's
no,
not
I'm asking. It's not that much different. All the difference is the outfit.
the outfit's different, but it's like
No,
the only thing that I can see in common with that is that a lot of people in like waiting shit fuck. But that's 'cause, like they're in close proximity.
Yeah.
I can tell
Service
you from
industry is
Well,
where-
the thing
Service
is-
industry, exactly.
the
I
thing
can
is,
tell you from both experiences at a strip club because I've been both on stage as well as a consumer.
Mhm.
Nobody's looking at the bottom girl. Nobody. Not a single
Mhm.
person
At a strip club.
at a strip club.
Well, there's bottle girls who don't work at a strip club.
But that's what I'm asking.
Bottle
in
girls at a
return to her
regular club are
question.
on that.
If
Yeah.
you were if you're going
They're on
through
that
the
list.
fuck girl tier, as Sergio would put it,
A normal bottle girl will be in the middle.
would be in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
honestly, they would probably be like higher up the knockoff just because of what I know my guy friends do with the bottle girls, and they'd be waiting for them.
yeah, like
Yeah.
when a club
Come
closes
again.
at 2:30.
Yeah.
But see,
What
as
do
a
you do?
woman, I see them and I think of them as inspiring.
For me, I think it depends on the.
They serve a purpose.
Yeah.
It's all a purpose.
For me, it depends on the type because there's different things that each one has temptations with. So if they're in that industry, there's got to be a lot of trust there. But it's like I don't really want to deal with even like having to take that first step of trusting them
Right.
because there's so much temptation there. Where it's like the money, the people bothering, the people hitting on them. It's like you're basically constantly dealing with temptation every
Yeah.
single day.
And at the club, it's like more affluent, man.
With that being said, I want to know your opinions on work husbands.
The male,
So,
the male
let's-
version is
let's-
the
The
fucking
fuck?
club.
So before we go to the next question, I want to finish Stephanie's question because she asked, like, what are our thoughts about, you know, women that are strippers that used to be strippers, or if they choose to want to stop. I know, Eric, you haven't had a chance to address that question.
Yeah, no, it's a no from me. And the thing is, it's a lot of the time, it's the perception of when you work in that kind of industry. A lot of the times, you might not even be like a hoe or anything. There might be a nurse who's a bigger hoe than that, but because you work as a stripper or an OnlyFans, there's always a perception, the presumption that you are.
Right. We got to
That's
think
why.
about the way that we are socialized, right? And we accept a dream of the world the way it is. So at some points when you categorize yourself by doing a certain thing, you're going to get assumptions and you got to fight through that and you got to decide if it's worth that fight.
Surprisingly for me, it's a maybe.
So maybe.
It's a maybe. I mean, I think if you have the same standard you held yourself to, then it just makes sense. So, like, if you've
Yeah.
been like consistent yourself not being a hoe, then it's like, okay, you can like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Makes sense.
not throw a stone, but
We should talk about the male versions of these.
Honestly,
Like club promoters.
For me,
bro, not even just that. Have you seen
DJs.
TikTok?
Yeah.
Bruh,
what you trying to say?
the male thirst trap. So many shirtless men, bottomless men, all the silhouettes.
Oh my god.
But those-
yeah.
those-
If I went on a first date and I went and later found it because I'm a find the socials, okay? I'm an
Yes.
experienced stalker. I
Yes.
will find your socials.
Wow.
Everyone
Yeah.
is.
Don't be
Dude,
surprised.
that's a part of a safe. That's why when the guy asks for my info, I give him my IG so I can figure out because I can read a lot off of what you're posting, the pictures and like what you're posting, and then I'll find your other socials. I'll find your old Facebook, whatever I got to do to figure out who the fuck I'm dealing with before I deal with you, right? But yeah, if I get on fucking TikTok and I see that you over here doing that, shirtless, I'm out.
Man, what
Wait,
do
so
y'all have?
what are you looking for
What do you mean?
when you're stalking? What are you looking for?
Red flags.
Yes.
So
Yeah, yeah.
like that. So basically, yeah, if you're on fucking TikTok grinding to the camera, I'm not attracted to that
Do y'all
Like,
look at who
or-
they're following?
to a degree. So here's my other thing. If I follow a guy and then I notice that I'm seeing him like girls' photos constantly, he's under every damn photo that I follow of a female. I'm like, do what you do, man. But Jesus Christ, I could tell you're thirsty. Like I
Yeah.
could tell you're thirsty. If after every hot girl that I know in Dallas, you liking her photo, you're thirsty. I know you're eating.
Worldwide.
If everybody on
Same
your
thing.
follow list is throwing ass,
If I go to the following and it's all beautiful women, I'm like, more power to you.
You
But
don't,
I
you
don't
don't
know.
know these guys.
Like it's got to be a mix up a little bit, you know,
Okay.
little things.
So I did want to point out something too about that last question, Stephanie, because you said, what are our thoughts about that?
Yeah.
To each their own. But I'm gonna tell you my honest thoughts. It will be a no for me. And the thing is, regardless if it's a bottle girl or it's a stripper, both of those professions, either you get additional income from flirting with others. And kind of, I'm surprised that Sean, what's your name again, ma'am? Sorry,
Shanoa.
Shanoa.
She
Yeah,
called me
Shanoa.
Shauna.
You said
Chanel?
you said you said your father told you that it's a form of protection,
Mhm.
which I thought was very key. A lot of women nowadays, honestly, at previous shows would say that it's called controlling. That men are controlling if they don't want
they
that.
have a father wound and they experience either their father, brothers, or first boyfriends that were possessive and controlling and said, "Oh, I'm just trying to protect you," but really it was under this, and they haven't realized that yet. That's a lot
So you
of
think
that.
they didn't
but,
like find that true protection? It wasn't like a caring, like
right, and there's a difference. There's
Yeah.
definitely
There
a
is a
difference,
difference.
and sometimes we have to acknowledge, like, okay, I went through this to learn a lesson, and if you don't see the lesson in that you learn, then you don't learn the discernment, and you can't pick better and figure out what type of protection you're getting. Right?
So do you think it's a skill to like actually notice like when that protection is actually caring?
A little
'Cause
bit.
I feel like a lot of
yeah.
people a lot of women loop those into together.
Right. Well, a lot of us are very, very, very traumatized and defensive.
Mhm.
I mean, because we haven't had proper guidance in those areas. Because a lot of times our fathers drop the ball. Like my dad really dropped the ball in a lot of ways, even though he gave me good things to stick by. It was a fear response. He was always afraid, and so I moved out of fear. So he didn't really give me a whole lot of like, well, guys just want this. Well, you're not explaining to me the different manipulation tactics. You're just
Mm.
telling me I better just be like this.
Yeah, just be
Like,
afraid,
and
but
I
don't,
don't
not
know.
why or like what to
Right.
look
They
out
didn't give
for.
me those guidance and that. So that's why I say when I have kids and I want a father, I want him to explain to my daughter how men act and the ways that they're going to try to persuade you at certain things, and to really give you those differentiations or what the fuck I just pulled at you. I can't focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had friends where like
Use
I
your own
tell
language.
them,
I don't care.
I tell them like the different stages guys are at. Like
Right.
they'd ask me questions like, "Hey, like what is this guy thinking?" Or like, "What is he
Right.
doing with this?" Because like I've been in like all those stages where like this point I'm like thinking only this way.
And this is why I say it's really valuable to have like either childhood friends or guy friends, like truly guy friends that you can say, "Hey, so and so's doing this to me," and when they're like, "Bro, he don't give a fuck," you don't
Mhm.
laugh with him. You say, "No, bro, you're right. You're fucking right." And that's why I think
Step
all of us
away.
should have at least one person of the opposite sex, whether it's your mother, father, brother, or friend, that you can talk to get that perspective. I think it really balances us out. In fact, that's why even sometimes I look at a guy. Can you have a female friend that is actually like your homegirl? A lot of you talk to every day and hang out with every day, but one that's like when shit's going sideways, you're like, "Yo, can I talk to you for a second?"
Oh,
I
that's
actually
such a
really
good
kind of
question.
like that. I like that, but that's also because where I'm at in life.
A
and
question
who
from
I've
that:
been.
Do you think like that can be a red flag? Because I've heard some
It
women
depends.
like
That's why I
say,
say every day, all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time, you're constant. Well, then you probably have feelings for her, right?
Mm.
But if it's like, so for me, my guy friends, we don't talk every day. Probably like once every 4
Mhm.
months, 3
Yeah.
months, and I'll get a random phone call at 2 a.m. Hey, what's up? You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, but it's 2 a.m. I know you're not good. What's going on?
Precisely.
Right.
Meanwhile, if you're talking to
That's
her
what-
every day, if you didn't mention her to me
That-
right
you probably-
away,
you probably have feelings for her. But
there's
you're not willing
something
to
going
admit
on
it.
there. If you're here all the time, if this is
Mhm.
this is your, I got to see you every day, I got to be around you every day. If you ever in your life put this woman before me, and I'm your girl,
Mhm. That's why it's like, why,
red flag, big red flag.
that's what she was like. I always be saying like, how does she feel? Or like if a guy friend, if it's at the point where she's knows that I'm your friend because we've been like a year friend, whatever. I've
Mhm.
talked to you a couple times and she's like, I don't like you talking to her. I'm like, can I talk to her? Let me talk to her real quick, or something like that. Cause I'm like, I gotta like show you that like I'm absolutely here for you because I want this motherfucker to like find love and stop calling me for his fucking problems.
Yes.
But like I just really think that that's our role too as women, is to help men process emotions and trauma, because that's our strength. You guys have physical strength. You help us like pinpoint the logic of scenarios, and you'll be so fucking on point that we're getting our feelings hurt. But like we're here to help you understand the whys of everything. So that's why I think it's important for every man to have a feminine confidant, whether again that's your mother, sister, or a friend. Some of us don't have mothers and sisters.
How would you filter that the guy isn't fucking them, or isn't like
So-
hasn't?
Yeah,
in
and
the
it's,
past.
it goes back to trusting your intuition as a woman. Tell me how many times you've known your man was cheating on you before you knew. So you know already what that man is doing before you commit to him. You already kind of know what kind of guy he is. Now, whether you listen to that or not, that's not his. That's on you a little bit. Like you see it, because that's our intuition.
Mhm.
We
Our
always-
woman's
we
intuition is
always know.
something
That is our
else.
power. That's the balance of our powers. Our differences in our powers is our intuition, our
I
emotional.
don't know. My intuition's pretty good.
Let me phrase it
Right,
this way.
that's the thing. It's all spectrum too. Depends
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
man.
Let me
It
phrase
depends
it
how much
this
you've
way.
worked on it. It's like a muscle.
So men have their own feelings about us having men friends. You know when that man friend is not a friend. He's trying to fuck. And we can't see it, but you can.
But the difference is, I think there's like a what do you call it? like a huge like line.
I don't.
I think there is.
I don't think there is.
There is
Because the same way that you can see that that man friend is not my friend, we genuinely believe that he is our friend and that's all he's there for. But he's waiting for the end result where we finally concede and go down and this road with him.
Here's the difference. I
This is why I
think.
We
get
see that with the
gross.
women.
Here's the difference. I think with that guy, if he's telling you, I think usually he knows. Like either they already hooked up or he's like hiding it. With the woman, she doesn't believe it. She doesn't think, oh, he's literally just my friend. I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, like that guy, just my friend, and like they don't
see it.
believe the guy wants to fuck them. But with the guy, he's like, oh, that's just my friend, but she's
Lying.
like his backup, or like that's what I think the difference
Have you
is.
ever
But do you mean that the guy friend that? So when the women
Are on the
when the
side,
women see that the woman friend is actually gunning for this man,
Mhm.
her man,
he probably knows.
he probably knows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The difference is.
But what if he genuinely is like, no, she's just a friend. She's just a friend. She's just a friend.
What's genuine?
Like genuinely, he genuinely like same way a woman would genuinely believe this man is not trying to fuck me. He's just my friend. If he's genuinely like, no, she's just my friend.
I think it
He
goes down to the
probably
respect you have
doesn't
for your
fuck.
partner. So
Yeah.
it's like if someone's making my partner uncomfortable, and I trust him and I respect him, which is why I'm dating him. I'm gonna listen to what he says, and if it's actually factual, like I've had moments where I'm like, no, you're right. I didn't realize that, or I didn't think about that. And I think that can kind of go both ways as well. But it comes down to a respect thing. Like, and I've had guy friends where it's like their homegirl, their girlfriend was like, no, homegirl, I'm the homegirl. It was like, I don't like you talking to her. And he's like, yo, da da da. And I'm like, that's fine. I understand.
Because
But I'm still
has
here
your
'cause I'm your
respect thing ever
friend.
turned out to be exactly what you thought it would be?
Like with him and a girl?
Yeah. If he convinced you that it was completely a respect thing, did it ever end up actually being?
No. And maybe because it's like I haven't dated guys that have like a lot of super, no, because my longest relationship, he had a lot of female friends, but I always knew that they weren't and they never did. The only time I'll say is when I was 18. When I was 18, my best friend in high school dated my boyfriend. Like after we broke up and they were just friends. It was my 12th grade prom. I get on Facebook and they were together on Facebook. And I was like, what the fuck?
Let me rephrase it just real quick. If it's a new friend,
See, that's a
if
little
y'all
bit
are already
different.
together, but then you have a new female or male best friend.
Is it a work friend or is it like
Nope.
we hang out the house? Okay.
Either way, that's
okay,
weird as
no.
fuck.
That's weird.
My thing is,
There's gotta be, like,
I'm always
some
gonna be like,
built-
can I meet her? Can we all three hang out? And then I'm gonna see right away if there's a connection.
Mhm.
I think it's fine. Like if they had like a guy friend or work friend, but like there wouldn't be any like solo time.
Right.
Like you're at work with the colleagues, you're at whatever with the people, like with the group. If it's like separate, like now, what the
Like,
fuck?
That's
is
my
it?
immediate red flag. If I have not met her, she's not your friend.
Right.
You're hiding her from me.
Right. Because that's
She's busy.
I don't know. She's not. If she's not busy to hang out with you, I can hang out with you too.
She's really busy.
She
Only
wants to be
not that
respectful.
busy.
She wants to be
She's not
respectful.
that busy.
she's an attorney.
If she wants to be respectful, she can meet me.
no.
Am I wrong?
No, we're joking.
Man, it's like there's so many signs where I wouldn't even deal with it at that point because I can't. There's sometimes I really can't tell. But if you're like so adamant that it's not,
If
And
it
then-
becomes a problem in your relationship, is it the friend or the girl?
you mean if I had a girlfriend?
Yep.
Like a girl like on the side, like who's a friend?
Yep.
Depends on how long I knew her.
She's new.
Oh no, like she's out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
That's how it should be.
So many men won't. So many men won't.
Then
Like if they met a new friend who was
Yep.
a woman and you told them to stop talking to them and they
She's just a friend. You're being paranoid, babe.
yeah, she's a new friend, like a new girlfriend.
She's not a friend. She's a replacement.
Decide-
Yeah, she's moving in slowly.
Yeah,
So-
slowly.
That's like all
Taking
my
your place.
I know.
my guy friends
You
are
know,
5
if you wanna
years
admit it.
plus.
Mhm.
Like, no.
I've had too much to drink. Don't mind me.
What
I
are
know. I
the
keep having my personal issues are coming out.
for that phase? Like, what are the most important things to maintain a healthy relationship?
I still maintain communication is the absolute most important thing. You have to be able to communicate how you feel, what you think. If you cannot communicate those things effectively,
Mm-hmm.
you have no hope in a relationship.
Communication is definitely number one.
Communication,
though.
honesty.
It is something that this generation lacks so much.
Can you handle honesty?
Yes.
Oh, that is a whole nother thing. is
Yeah.
When you ask the question, so sometimes here's what I'm.
So it's like, what type of honesty do you
when
want?
I get into it, I'm like, I will say, do I want to hash this out with him because I already know the answers? Do I want to hear him say it?
Yes,
no,
you
I
do.
don't. I know. Actually, now, no. Now I'll be like, no, I already know what he's gonna say. I'm not even gonna bring it up because I already know where you're at.
I'm
Based
one
off
of those
what you've
persons.
done already. Like, I don't need to hear you say I'm not ready for a relationship and I don't want to date you because I already know. So I'm like
Yeah.
gonna disappear into the bush.
I don't
like
really want honesty.
Homer Simpson. You know,
I'm
what
one of those people. If I know you're lying, if I know that you're going to lie to me, I'm going to ask you the questions that I know the answers to and see if you're going to lie to me.
Okay, I just watch their actions.
If you would I would be so much more able to work with you, so much more able to communicate with you and express like what's going on if you would just be honest.
Mm.
I don't like. I'm not saying that I don't care if you're like cheating on me or whatever. Obviously, I care. However, I have so much more respect for you if you're honest with me about it. We can actually work towards something if you're honest with me about it. If you're lying to me, I have no trust for you whatsoever.
But it's to protect you.
No, it's to protect you.
Maybe both.
It doesn't protect me at all.
What do you think the
Especially
difference
if I
is?
already know the truth. I'm not going to ask it a question I don't know the answer to.
What do you think the difference is between that?
I just wanna
Between
give them the
protecting for
satisfaction of
themselves or
protecting
protecting for you? Or protecting for both?
Just so this situation specifically, I can't talk, but this situation specifically,
Specifically.
say you know you cheat on your spouse, right? Or your partner or whatever. Say you lie to her about it. She clearly already knows if she asked you.
50-50.
50-50, but more than likely,
Sure.
clearly, she knows. Had you been honest, there might have been hope.
But what if you take it to the grave and she just ignores it because you don't cheat again?
That's her, but I wouldn't expect you to stay with that woman. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Why?
If she is ignoring the red signs, if she is ignoring that you're cheating on her and this, that, and the third, she got her own shit going on. She's not worried about you. She's not worried about you. If
No,
she is
probably so.
completely complicit with you cheating on her and she knows about it and you're lying to her face and she knows about it,
Think
best
about this.
believe that girl is getting her lick
Think
back.
about this. A lot of
And
people
y'all ain't
ignore
gonna know
the.
because we're
Y'all
a
ain't
lot
gonna know.
A
sneakier.
lot of people ignore the red flags to get into a relationship to begin with.
To get into
So,
a relationship to begin with, yes. But once they become too
so what's the difference?
large to ignore,
Yeah.
you have to make a choice at that point.
Red flags are red flags.
You have to make a choice at that point. So either
She made a choice to get in a relationship with someone who's already had red flags.
yes. If I made the choice to get in a relationship with someone who I know is going to cheat on me, who I know is going to lie to me, who I know is going to break my trust,
You're doing it for a
I'm not
reason,
shit to
'cause
begin with, first of all.
True.
That goes back to the emotionally unavailable thing. You're like, you're doing what I can get away with some stuff because I already know you're gonna do it.
It doesn't even matter if I'm out doing my own bullshit. I don't value myself enough to respect myself the way that I expect you to.
So this is just a failed relationship in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of those right now.
There are so many women who do not respect themselves enough to stay in a healthy relationship because they don't believe that they deserve more.
That's what I always think is funny too when people talking about like, the rich man, the 1%ers, and they're like, you know he's gonna cheat, but he's gonna pay for everything, so it's okay. And I always think I'm like, yo, those girls got dudes on standby. You think that they just at the house waiting for you to get home?
that trophy
they
wife got
got-
men.
The difference is like women, because one of our powers is persuasion and manipulation. You're
Mhm.
always going to win at the cheating game. You guys aren't going to know, and that is why women also get upset. It's also not just because you cheat, but because you embarrassed us. Other people know because
That's
you're not
the
as
biggest
smooth
thing.
with
Do
it.
not have me out in these
So
streets
I just
looking
had somebody
stupid.
else tell me they saw you with so and so, and now I got to hear about it. And they're like, "Are you okay, girl?" But really, you're being demeaning. And that whole interaction.
I'd agree with you in
Turns me
general, but I feel like the men who are at that level are on league with those women who are manipulative.
Because they're also that's why they got that power.
Yeah, because most guys
So they don't also care.
Are, like,
they don't care if the woman is doing
socially
things,
like
as long as-
retarded compared to women. But like those guys at that level, like they understand what's going on. They know how to speak. They know what to do to make things work in their favor.
Right.
So if she has multiple guys on standby, he has like
He's not worried about it because he is too. That's why
he has a
that-
league.
Exactly.
That's why I'm like, those women that get into those positions, like it's not this poor her or we're over here like, oh, like I wouldn't do that, but it's like they got their own thing going, and it is foolish for a man to believe that once you get up to that power, I'm gonna have a woman that will just be my wife, take care of my kids, but I'm gonna have other girls. She's gonna be okay with it because I'm paying for everything.
There are so many men
They
I know
got
that
their
are
own
like
thing.
that.
It's like anything else. It's like prerequisites.
Delusional.
It's like
But here's the
whatever.
thing.
You are gonna get the partner you get. Women follow. The partner you get is gonna be like you eventually, because she's gonna eventually follow you in those actions. So maybe she wasn't a cheater, but then when she sees you're cheating, but she is comfortable where she's at and she's happy with this. Well, you're doing that. Well, I'm gonna do it too because that's how you're moving. So why don't I move that too?
I think it might be the opposite. It'd be like if you're hitting what I want, then I'm fine with it. But if once one of those drops,
Because you cannot fulfill a woman completely emotionally and everything else if you have other women you're pertaining to that are outside the home.
that's debatable.
Well,
But explore it into
this
a
book,
version
Ethical
where men
Sex,
are
about
the-
polyamory.
Yeah.
That is all communication and understanding, and you have the primary and secondary partners. But every primary partner, their primary partner has a secondary partner because you have to split that energy elsewhere. Because otherwise, you're going to focus on that person while they are splitting their energies.
But some of those people can't maintain the energy, so it depends on the person.
100%.
And that's why
polyamory
it's,
is a real sexuality.
And that's why if they're not fulfilling one of those things, then they start looking away because now that thing is dropped.
Right.
So if they're not fulfilling the financial portion, it's like, why the fuck am I here? Not getting the emotional
It's got to
part.
be the emotional, physical that gets a woman. So we sense when you guys are not 100% in the home and you guys are not.
But it
your
depends on
attention
the
isn't
woman.
there. Yeah, it's very unlikely you're going to get a woman that's going to sit on standby while you fuck other women. She's going to get nothing to do.
But here's the thing. Let me explore that into the world of open relationships.
I tried it once, a couple times.
Men are usually the ones that will be like, "Hey, let's do an open relationship."
They can't handle
They
it.
can't
That's
handle
not
it.
true.
No,
Yes.
it is.
Oh my God, the amount. That's what got me to read books. I'm a big book reader. I research topics. Was because guys in Dallas kept bringing up to me, I think I'm poly. I think I'm poly. And I'm like, what is this whole poly thing?
Meaning
So
they
I
can
started-
commit.
So I researched about it. And yes, most of these guys, when I actually learned it, and I was like, okay, no, I've been working on the mentality. Let's try it. And when it gets flipped, it's absolute chaos and they freak the fuck out.
Because the reality is a woman has a dick available every fucking corner that they step on. It doesn't matter if
Right.
they look like dog shit. They have options.
That's true.
It is
Yeah, for
so
sure.
hard for a woman to get a woman to fuck.
And then
They
plus,
will result to tactics that are incorrect. They are lying. They are saying, I'm this, that, and the third. I want this, that, and the third with you. It's not true. And just in order to get them to fuck. Meanwhile, a woman only has to be like, hi.
And that's why I said the
And the
money
dick is
thing is like the
available.
only people who could even like, for the most part, the only ones who could even imagine to compete are the ones with that money. 'Cause otherwise, you have to have so many other things like so far up there.
your charisma and your looks are there, and you have your own house and car as a man. At this day and age, you can do poly.
Oh yeah,
You
you
don't
can
need
make
a
it work, but
relationship.
there's a certain point to
I feel
where
like at this day and age, if you're accepting poly, it's not only that you can't commit, is you're doing it for a financial reason. That was
so
my
many
only
rappers-
reason I even
Well, there's-
ever
Right.
considered
There's
it.
there's different reasons. So when I was reading there was talked about communities, and basically where people would have these communities where there's multiple partners involved and kids, and they're all raising them. But that's like some self-sustained shit, some hippie shit, right?
That's some
that's
that's
one way
some
to
back
take
in the
it.
way when there was like a village shit and you actually
Well,
trusted everyone.
They're still doing
takes
that
a-
in different areas in Texas. So that's a
They're
fucking
doing it,
thing.
but I think it's different than what it was. Because back then there was like, for the most part, there was true blue trust where it's like you grew up together, you
Yeah.
built together. This is an actual community. Now it's like you've built a community, and then it can be consistent for a while, but then usually there's always like that one weirdo who fucks it up for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
for the
a-
wrong reasons.
But back in the day when there was that one weirdo, he got banished from the tribe.
Right.
But
So, like,
ultimately,
you
it
don't have to
results
fuck with
from somebody not being able to commit. They're like, I love you and I want you and I don't want you to be with anybody else.
Right.
But I want all these other people.
That's why I
To
took you
me,
to the
I think
movies.
it's a bridge. I think polyamory in itself for most people should be a bridge to finding your partner where you're dating in that span where you are communicating with someone like, hey, I'm getting to know you, but I'm also still dating. And we really do that already. Like so many of us already do that where we are
Into the
having
mic,
sex
Force.
with multiple what?
Into the mic.
Oh,
There
I'm
you go.
sorry. My bad. Well, we are having multiple
Can you pull up that last
Thank
comment or the last chat?
relationships at once while we're dating. It's really
How would you manage to not make it end up in disaster? What are the things you would set
you
up?
have to have an intense level of emotional intelligence and communication. And
Not
most
only
of us
that,
don't.
but trust.
and that. And,
The
and
house, if you do any research on polyamorous or open relationships or anything like that, the main thing that they teach you is step one is that you have to have so much trust. You have to be so secure in your relationship, because if you don't, inviting anybody else into that relationship is going to absolutely fucking destroy you.
Let's personalize it. How would you do it if you tried or if you wanted to?
I've never wanted to personally.
Mhm.
My ex did.
Okay.
We had been through this discussion. He's like, if I'm going to commit to you fully, keep in mind this man had cheated on me the entirety of our relationship.
The football guy.
No, last guy.
Okay.
He was a military guy.
That's good.
So his heart was really open.
Very.
Yeah.
You have no idea. But he was just, the thing is, he was fine doing whatever the fuck he was doing. Should I step out once, he could not fucking handle it at all. It completely destroyed him. It was like, I have no trust for you. I don't like you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. You're like nothing to me at that point. To be in that type of relationship, you have to be so secure, so trustworthy, so happy in your relationship, and know that this is your one person no matter what, no matter who comes, no matter what happens. This is my person. If you're not at that point, you cannot have that relationship securely.
That's fact.
He tried to communicating to me that it was strictly for a financial reason, or for, at the point that it became like a necessity. He was like, no, like I don't think that I can commit myself to you fully unless we do this, that, and the third. It was, I love you and I am fulfilled by you. However, I have other desires.
I've got a secret hack for this.
Please do.
So I know for a fact I can sling my dick till dusk till dawn, and I know she can do it like 10 times over. So I'm just not doing that shit. Fuck it. I'm not. Never.
That being said, my past
Never.
relationship was
Yeah.
unique
Never.
to say the least.
Yeah.
He was bisexual and with men, women, trannies. It didn't matter.
You have blue
And
hair.
no.
Why are you gay?
What? Oh my god, I love that fucking video.
I try not to use that terminology to him because at a certain point I was aware of it.
Nigga, you gay.
One more time.
And
Nigga, you
because I myself am also, this is me coming out.
You
Because,
can't be. What is it?
but here's my thing. So
Hypocritical.
this is me basically coming out because my family and everything doesn't know. So should they see this, I myself am actually bisexual as well. So I couldn't judge him entirely too much. However,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like
Yeah.
pansexual or something.
no, I'm bi. I like women. I like men. But that being said, I don't see myself in a relationship with a woman. I personally know I could not handle another me, and me is my type. So,
Wait, why don't you expand on that? What is that?
what do you mean?
Why won't you date a woman?
And why couldn't you date yourself?
Women are intimidating. Are you kidding?
It's not even that women are intimidating. So, I'm exposing
The best
myself
way is that.
hella here.
Complicated.
No, I'm
You're
fine.
just sexually attracted to him.
I am very much sexually attracted to him. However, the emotional part of it all, I myself know that I'm a lot. And I can admit that. I know I'm a lot to handle emotionally and everything else. I categorize myself as extra. That's how I am, and I accept that.
crazy ass bitch.
Capital X.
But I know that I couldn't be there for her emotionally. I couldn't act like I was a man to be a provider or anything like that.
Couldn't lead.
I could
Yeah.
not lead, other than the bedroom. That is my only place where I would lead. Other than that, we're equals. So you got to carry your half.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, you know what,
So in your partner,
okay.
would you find that like a positive or negative?
Being what?
Extra.
Extra?
Yeah.
I feel like I search out people who are calmer. I need you to have a clear level head. I need somebody to bring me down. I need my reaction to be something that you
No
react
shit.
upon. I look for my better half, somebody that's
Mhm.
going to calm me down when I'm doing too much. Somebody that's going to tell me that I'm being too much.
Do you think there would be any benefit to you not just accepting, but looking to like, hey, let me step up to be like a little less extra,
What do you mean?
be less extra?
Be less extra?
Yeah. Do you see any benefit to that instead of?
I do, but at the same time, if I was being less extra, I wouldn't be me. What I look for in a relationship is comfortability to be myself. If you're not okay with who I am as a person, we're not lasting.
So would you want a man? You don't want a man to tell you to shut the fuck up and sit down sometimes?
Okay, see,
Not
that's
like
a different
that.
thing because I'm
Jesus Christ.
submissive. I love being told what to do. That's not the thing. But the thing is,
But you're not
can you tell me
accepting-
what to do?
But you just said you want a man that's accepting of who you are as a person. That's kind of like saying you're okay with having a yes man put up with that shit
No,
or handle you.
you have. If you can't handle me, I'm not comfortable.
So my question back to it: would you be willing if a guy told you to shut the fuck up and sit down?
Here's the thing. I have to have enough respect and trust in you for you to tell me that. For me to be submissive and be like, okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and sit down. I want to be submissive, but you have to be able to lead. If that makes sense.
So it just has to be that guy has to be qualified.
Yes.
He has to have other prerequisites
Earn our
up front.
respect.
But if he's dating you, shouldn't he already qualify? Like, shouldn't he already have to be qualified?
At that point, I believe that you're qualified. You can jump through all the hoops that I know of.
That's what the filters are for.
That's what I'm saying. You jump through all the filters. You jump through all the hoops. Like, I know that you can. I respect you enough to listen to you when you tell me to shut the fuck up and sit down. If you tell me to walk this way, I'm walking this way. I'm not looking. There is a study where women are so unaware of their surroundings when they're with their men that they trust and that they think will protect them. That when they're walking hand by hand, they're not looking up.
I
They're not
love it.
looking down. They're not looking at their surroundings. They are walking with him happy. La da 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 da.
I love it. It's
Yes.
my favorite. I'm like,
Well,
I'm not
paying attention to what's around me because I know that you've got me. I know that you are my man. You are my protector.
looking at
You are
his
my
chest?
person. I don't even have to look at your chest.
No.
I'm looking down. I'm looking at the
You got my
sky.
hand. I'm just like,
I'm either down here watching my feet so I don't trip, or I'm looking at everything's hunky dory. Best day ever. But you have to have that level of trust and respect in that person in order to feel that comfortable where I can hold your hand and let you guide me, not knowing where the fuck I'm going, not knowing what's around me, because I'm so comfortable and so trusting in you that I know that I'm okay no matter what. Does that make sense?
But that just goes back to like actually choosing right.
Yes.
that's what your 20s are for, to learn the discernment to choose right,
Yep.
baby.
I'm still in my 20s. I'm still learning.
all the women that I serve to in my part-time job, they're all business owners. They're all of them, and all our clients are women. They're married with kids, have their own businesses, and they all tell me the same thing. Wait till your 30s to get married and have kids, because your 20s aren't for that. Your 20s for understanding yourself, for finishing development of your frontal lobe and your body. And in your late 20s, 30s, then start thinking about marriage and start thinking about settle down, because at that point you'll be able to choose right. And most, I can't tell you how many of these women have told me, wait till you're 35 to have kids.
What the fuck?
Yes,
That's
and a
wild.
lot of them
Terrible.
have. No, it's
Terrible
not.
advice.
It's absolutely not. It's been proven now that the prime birthing age are 25 to 35.
Is it?
It is. Our frontal lobes as women are not fully developed until 25. Our hips don't finish setting until 25. And if you think about it, if we're having birth early in our 20s,
So what you're saying it should
our
be
age-
25.
25 and up.
Geriatric
Add
pregnancy
up,
does not
25.
start until 35.
But I don't think that's the
But-
new science is
but the
changing
chances
that. That's
of-
what's
of
really beautiful.
When
Is
your
more I've
eggs
been
are
reading
disappearing.
is there's
starts at
new
30,
there's
actually
new science
before
that
that.
proves,
Yeah.
proves all of that. There's new sciences to
I
prove
am
that.
the oldest of 9.
Mhm.
My mother just had a child at like, I don't even know, 38. Something
Would
like
you
that.
recommend that for most women though?
Absolutely.
Yes, most of these
Absolutely.
women
So
I've
that's why-
talked to
that's why
have
we don't talk about
No, like
recommended
you
that.
can have kids at that age, but we're saying that there's a lot of risks that come with that.
I
Until
agree.
you're 40, it doesn't. Until you're 40 is when the true decrease starts
If
happening.
you go
The
to an
collagen production
OBGYN right now
rapidly
at
decreases
35, you are a
40.
geriatric
That is the new
pregnancy.
science. If you look up the fucking stats right now, if the new science being developed, our collagen doesn't stop until 40. And so when you have kids early, it's like drinking caffeine as a child. It stunts your growth.
After 40, they expect you to have a child with Down syndrome.
And that's bullshit. Unless, I mean, but I will say like the 30s are your prime birthing years. That is when you are in most intact mentally, physically to start giving birth. My mother didn't have me until she was 33. Her second husband, which is my father, he was 4 years younger than her, and he took on 2 kids and her. And like, so the whole thing, and that was
I'm not
fucking
saying that it's not
80s.
possible. That's not what I'm saying
Yeah.
at all. I'm just saying you do have more risk the older that you get, which is true.
It is, but it depends on your health. If you've been taking care of yourself,
I'm
Would
not
you-
a healthy
Just fine.
person. I'm
So-
sorry. She's not.
but as I'm saying, it's like after 40, yes, I'm sure that is very risky. But in your 30s, the whole of your 30s is perfectly safe to have children, and it is recommended by the women that I know that have had children before and after. And I work with hundreds of these women every time I work these shows, and that's what they tell me. So stop. Don't be afraid. Don't rush it. Don't feel like you have to find your husband and get married by 25. You absolutely don't.
Can
In
I
fact,
ask you,
don't
lady,
do it.
something?
Do you now? Let me. I gotta back up on that statement. You know, you don't have to get married at 25.
Yeah, you don't.
Do you think men are out here looking for 40-year-old women to create families with, or are they trying to get with the younger?
Well, my thing
woman?
is, you shouldn't be waiting until you're ready to have kids to find your husband. You should be finding your husband before that and then have kids. So you have to leave that room for that. And honestly, I have had a lot of men that are 5+ years younger than me say that they want to date me or want me because I'm older, but I won't do it because they're younger. And I'm like, you got to grow up first, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
nah.
But they're already matured.
No,
They're
they're
not.
not.
They've developed.
No,
Women
they're
mature
23,
mentally
24,
before men.
22, absolutely.
Why
not.
don't you guys trust them?
Because they're not fucking
Women
frontal
mature
lobe
mentally
developed.
before men.
They have a
But
heart
I
of
don't
gold.
think that's even true too. I think that's another socialized myth that we've received because women have more pressure socially to put on them. So we mature faster because we have to out of safety and out of social status. But no, I don't think that's even true either. I
Going
think,
back to the
as-
pregnancy thing real quick, it seems like you're right that it's still like, healthy, like it's still fine, but it just like there's a lot of complications that come up each like 5 years. So it's like 25, like you're probably fine. 30,
you're
you're like
completely fine
30,
at 30.
30,
30
My,
is
you're-
fine.
my sister had both her kids after
let
35.
me finish real quick. 30, you're like basically fine, and then after 35, that's when it starts jumping up like crazy. But like 30 to 35, that there's some there's some risk.
I feel
risk after 35. You jump up crazy after 40.
35, like that the
I
jump
feel
was
like
pretty
35
big.
to 40 is
No,
where
I'm
it gets
telling
risky
you,
because
it's-
menopause does come around for most women around the age of 40 to 45.
Because
I'm
any
telling
any
you,
jump
that's
over
not
like
what
3 to 5% is like big at that point, but it's still not horrible.
It's not enough to worry about. It's not enough to be over here like I'm too old. If there's nothing to worry about in your 30s, there's nothing to worry about when it has kids in your 30s.
No, but I do have a question though for the woman. Have either of you just like discovered baby fever?
yes, 100%.
When did that hit?
29, where I'm at now, and even then, I don't think that I'm ready.
What about you?
Well, she said I had a
Probably
baby.
right now,
She got
yeah.
a baby.
Right now? See, mine didn't hit till I was 21. I didn't want kids at all because of the way that I grew up and how many kids my mom and my father have separately. I did not want kids.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened when I turned 21. That clock hit like that. I was like, man, I need a kid now. I know I don't need a kid. I can't financially support a kid, but I wanted a kid.
Mhm.
It didn't make any fucking sense. I was
Look,
like, hey,
and
the
there
clock
it
is
is.
ticking. I only have so long. I only
That's
have
what
so
that is.
long.
It's
I
not
think the
even so
lesson
much
will
that you're-
would be to go
your
back to what
idea.
you mentioned earlier, where it's like you're not worrying about the kid thing, you're worrying about like choosing someone who's like right for you, as a
Right.
quality partner.
Right.
That way you have that range to not even think about
You
it.
shouldn't be thinking about, oh, I need a baby before
Yeah.
this. No, I have to find a partner. If I don't find one that's worthy of reproducing and creating a better genetic copy of us, then I'm not having one.
But here's the
And
thing.
that's
What if
okay,
you don't
too.
find that partner until after you're
Then-
like 45?
Then that's okay. I have
But then I don't have
relatives who
kids.
are married that don't have kids and they are so fucking happy.
But what if I want kids?
You
Then
adopt.
choose-
Do you know how many
choose good
babies
before.
are on this world
Yeah.
with no mama?
Or adopt, like you
There
said.
are
yeah.
no baby. There's so many babies out here with no mother. That's why I'm not worried about it either. Because if I don't find that man in time, I'm fine with that. There are kids in foster care, and if we're gonna get rid of abortion and things like that, we have to be aware there's gonna be so many children that have no parents. So preaching to women, they better hurry up and have kids, or else
Man,
they're gonna be
especially
lonely.
in
It's
Texas.
bullshit. We need to have women out there that are like, I don't care about my own kids. I'm okay, and I can love another child as my own.
Thinking
know?
about
Do
the
you
kid
think-
part, who do you choose? How would you choose your partner so you can trust them for that next phase? Like, what would you look
For like
for?
for a child.
Yeah. Like, what are the things you'd look for to make sure that it's a quality partner?
Well, I'm gonna look at their parenting style. So that's what I've had now when I've gone on dates and talked to people is we will discuss and I will bring it up if it gets serious enough. But we're talking about how would we parent, and I need to know how you will. If you're gonna make this huge difference between the boy and the girl, are we gonna parent that? We're gonna parent them the same, right? Because they should be. We need to be worrying just as much about the boy as the girl. So I need to know where your head's at and viewing those things. I need to know. Can we actually afford a child? Because the society, again, is ridiculous. Economy is ridiculous. So right now, I think it's more realistic to expect 1 to 2 children per household. You're not going to get more than 1 to 2. It just doesn't seem like it's sustainable to do more than 1 to 2 right now.
But see, here's the thing. My problem with that is any man that you've ever dated, did you not think he was worthy?
No, I've had some that I thought were worthy, but other things didn't factor into it. And more so where I was trying to get to my goal and their goal was somewhere else. And the paths were splitting and I just,
My point is that everyone thinks that it's about who you choose, right?
I don't think everyone thinks that.
Not everyone specifically, but most people will come to you and be like, well, you need to choose better. You're choosing these men who are treating you like shit. You're choosing these men who are cheating on you. You're choosing obviously they weren't doing that when I chose them. Who I chose wasn't exactly what it turned out to be. I could have been wrong. At the end of the day, the only reason that I have not had kids up until this point, because yes, since I was 21, the past 3-4 years, I've wanted kids. I know that I myself am not in a space where I can be financially stable enough to take care of me and the child if the father is not there. And that is my main mentality, is that if I cannot take care of this child by myself, whether or not he is here, I'm not going to do it. Who I choose is not necessarily going to be there in the long run. And I know that just from being in
Wait, what?
But
Don't-
why do
don't
you have that
accept that.
mentality
Don't-
at the start?
Don't accept that.
That's
idea.
what I've grown up with. I grew up with a single mother. My father was not there.
Right.
But why would you set that expectation for yourself?
I'm not setting that as an expectation. That is a backup plan. It's the fact of if I cannot take care of this child by myself,
I don't want to have it.
I'm not going to do it, because I refuse to put that child in a situation where I cannot take care of them in the way that I need to without him. If I am not okay without him, there is no business in me having a child.
And that would go back to the accountability of men when they create babies they don't want and they ditch them.
Because
It's
I
so much
can't
easier for them
I
to
can't
ditch.
always depend on him to be there for the child. I can't always depend on him to pay child support or whatever. I have a brother right now. His father was quitting jobs, specifically $6,000 a month jobs, so that he would not have to pay child support on my brother. My youngest 2 siblings are both 3 right now. I have the ability where I can test the men that I'm with by bringing them to my family. I do not bring them to my family unless I know that I trust them with that, because my brothers and my sisters will get attached. I have very young siblings. I'm the oldest of 9. So it's not even so much of a test as so much as that I need to see how you are with your siblings. Aside from that, I also need to see how you are with your parents. If you don't respect your mother, you're not going to respect me. And if you don't respect your father, you're not going to respect your children that way.
We gotta take your time.
feel like a lot of
picking
people
partner to have
pretend-
kids with.
They like pretend like they have those filters, but then once their emotions get into play, they ignore like every warning
And it
sign.
happens over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The one person I legitimately had around one of my youngest brothers was the football player. My mom was sick at the time, so I was half raising him, also in college, also taking care of my boyfriend, also paying the bills. My brother was there for months. I think he was 3, 4, 5 years old. By the time that my relationship ended, he was begging and crying for this man. I miss him, because he had no father figure, because his father figure was not there. I'm not going to subject my siblings to that when I know how impressionable they are, when I know how I went through that. So if you can't be there for them in that type of situation, in no way, shape, or form would you be there for your child like that, especially when you've been there raising them with me. There's no way.
So you gotta take your time to figure out what type of man you're dealing with. Again, it goes back to discernment and learning, and that's what your 20s are for, is to date. To date, yes, with expectations of like, yeah, I hope this lasts forever, but I understand that we're all trying to figure this out right now. So let's just figure it out together. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let me, instead of like also being in a mindset where they did this and that to me, well, let me see what else I didn't realize in the beginning that causes things to happen and caused me to see that, okay, this man isn't that type of man for me.
I think social media and people's like emotions completely like fucked up their discernment.
We're in a whole nother era of time. We have so many options to us, men and women. We have so many options. You got to filter through those. We didn't have those before. We're in a completely unknown territory right now.
And things are
So
still
we have to
advancing.
take a little bit
so-
time. Right.
My
We gotta
problem with
take
that
more
is there
time.
are people in their 80s and 90s who are still figuring life out.
Yeah. That's
That's sad.
You're
though.
not
Like, if
gonna-
you're at that age,
You're not
and
going to
still
have
figuring
life
it out.
figured out.
well, because a
ever.
lot of
Who
them
knows the
had
secret to
families
life?
too early.
It's not even having life figured out. It's having that understanding of like how to what you want, what you're
that
seeking.
goes back to having kids too early. When you have kids in your early 20s, you don't have time, and because as soon as you have a kid, that is your whole life. You are no longer your own person. Your life really doesn't matter as much as the priority, which is the life that you just brought into this world. So you need time to go through all those trials and errors to figure out who you are. So later in life, you're not wondering and figuring that out, leaving your partner, doing things, leaving your kids, having these existential crises. They even said that like millennials aren't having a midlife crisis because well, most of us couldn't even settle until later.
Yeah.
Have millennials.
We
I
have
think
those
it can
crises
definitely
already.
it can definitely be both, but it goes
Yeah.
back to the
It's a
actually
spectrum.
choosing a good partner. Because if you have a good partner, you don't really have to worry about the balancing it as much. You still have to work
Right.
towards that relationship,
Right.
but if you're working towards that relationship, then you both together can work on giving that child what they deserve because you're both treating each other well.
But that goes back to, how do you know if you're choosing a good partner?
Well,
And
that's
the
up
thing
to
is,
you.
is a lot of women, we're sheltered
Time,
heavily.
It's on you,
actions.
yeah.
Women are sheltered
Experience.
heavily, so we don't get exposure to the real world as early as guys do. You think about it, because it's like, we think about it. The mom's like, well, I want a little boy because I don't have to
I think
worry
it's the
about
opposite.
I don't have to worry about him as much. He can go do whatever.
Nah, it's
And
the
a little
opposite.
girl, I'm gonna be like, you can't do this. You're being fast. You're doing this. You're doing
I feel
that.
like it's the opposite.
It's definitely the opposite.
Like women realize the real world faster.
Women understand the real world faster.
I don't believe that.
I think it
because
might depend on the area, actually.
that's probably the truth, because I grew up in the Bible Belt heavily, and so in that area it's very much sheltering, and so you're fed to the wolves, and so you raise a
Oh,
little
I meant
girl.
like sexually compared to like romantically compared to. So say like with a woman, it's like they understand the realities of like that side of things, where it's like exploitation, like being advanced upon, dating, things like that.
They really don't. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe now the Gen Z and stuff, they actually, those women know a lot more. They're much more aware than millennial women. We were much more still in that old school sheltered phase where we were just told to act this way, don't allow this, you only do this if he wants to marry you. And so the first man is over here like, I'll marry you, I want to marry you, and then you're like, oh, he
But
loves
that's
me.
the romantic part.
Yeah.
But like the most guys don't even have like that first experience to even have the knowledge of where to start or where to begin.
And that's poor leadership from their fathers and mothers too. if you think about
Yeah,
it.
and
But
so
that's likewise in women as well. There are so many families who are raised either single father households, single women households, and you're raised off of that perception. So you're seeing, if you're from a single father household, you're saying, hey, my father's being played by all these women who just want him for his money,
And you either don't respect men or women because of it too.
or how he treats the women.
Right.
How is
Follow
he taking
suit.
her on dates? How is he loving her? How is
it's about
this, that,
to say
and the
like mine
third?
was the opposite.
This is why I will
Or if they're
ask
raised
what
in a
man's
single mother
parents
household,
do.
mom's doing everything. She's paying all the bills. She's being father. She's being mother. She's doing this, that, and the third. There's no father around. Men are playing her left and right. You learn not to trust men that way.
Mhm.
You're like, men are nothing but they're just gonna play
And also
you.
men who've had single mothers like that then don't respect women because they don't respect the way their mother is moved.
That
Which is also a conversation we have to have with so many single mothers, is like, we have to look, okay, so if we keep having these like generational issues with guys acting a certain way or not being fathers and things like that, now we'll have to start looking at our fellow woman and being like, how are we raising our boys? How are we raising them? Are we raising them like the old school way, which left them without that proper guidance? Or are we raising them with a way that they now know they need to be a staple? They need to have intention with their actions, with their sex and everything else. It's not just a conquest. There's purpose behind it.
which is why I think it's so important, no matter what sex you are, whether you're a single mother household, a single father household, a double parent household, it doesn't matter. You need to make sure that those values are instilled in your children.
Mhm.
You need to know that your young men that you're raising know how to treat a woman.
And
You
not
need to know
waste
that
their
your young
teenagers.
women who you're raising know how to be treated by a man.
Right. Exactly.
Otherwise, you come out with all these children who are lost and confused and accepting any love that they think valuable because, hey, I have daddy issues and that's my excuse. Or, hey, I have mommy issues. That's my excuse. So I don't know how to treat a woman, or I don't know how to treat a man. I don't know how a man should treat me. I don't know how a woman should treat me. And then you have all these broken people who are just trying to pick up the pieces because they don't know any better.
Mhm.
What in general, between like a daughter and a son, what standards would you set for them?
I think that a lot of households raise women and men differently as children. I think stereotypically that men are raised like, oh yeah, like, say when it comes to the point where they are sexually active in their dating, or not even just sexually active, just dating. You're like, oh, you got a girlfriend? Congrats, man. I'm so proud of you, son. Girl. No, absolutely not. He only wants one thing. Da 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 da. You're shamed. I know. So from my personal experience, right? My father was not in the household.
Mhm.
However, I did have a surrogate father of sorts who was there, and while my mother was completely on board with dating, my father was like, you're a fucking slut.
So it would be
The sexual shame of the
The
problem.
sexual shame.
it would
Meanwhile,
be
his son, he's
holding
like,
in the
you're not
guy-
dating any girls. Like, one of my youngest / oldest brothers, he just graduated high school, right? Just turned 18. You're not dating any women. You haven't mentioned any women. Are you even fucking? Like, He would never say that to any of his daughters.
He's worried about if he's gay or not.
He's worried if he's gay. He's like, I'm trying to figure out.
Toxic
Are
father.
you?
But you're looking at it from like a point of we're equal, but we're not equal. Like a
that's-
father's gonna want to protect his daughter's purity.
But my thing is, how
But
can
I
we
think
expect
that
women to
should
be
be
pure if we're
equal.
raising
A
men to
fa-
not?
Why should your young son not be pure?
Because he needs experience.
But
That's
for
the
what?
thing.
But
He's
where's
gonna be
no?
he's gonna
So-
be the leader of a relationship.
So he's gonna ruin the women
That's why he needs
that you said you
experience.
ruin them because
But
he needs
you're
to get
saying that he
experience?
needs that experience. Should a woman not need that experience? Because
She
as
does.
far as I can remember, as far as I've experienced, every man does not want a woman who is just so pure and just knows absolutely fucking nothing.
So since this is gonna be the last question for the night, so just give me like one or two things you tell your daughter and one or two things you tell your like son to help him, and then we'll just go around real quick. Like,
Can
one
we
or-
start over there?
So I would basically tell them to don't do anything that is not what you want to do. And that's going to be directed more towards the girls because society tells us to be people pleasers. So I'm going to tell them if you're having sex, if you want to hook up with this boy, don't do it because you want him to like you. Do it because you are aroused and you want that to happen, to experience it. And I would also leave the door open to let them know I will not shame you nor judge you for any decision you make. I want you to come to me so we can discuss it and how to do it better next time. Because that's a huge thing. You have to not include shame, especially in teenagers. They shame the conversation because you are supposed to be their safe space. You're supposed to be that non-judgmental space where you can talk to them because after they're teenagers, your parenting should have already been done. It should have been done from the ages of 4 until 10 years old. That's where you get these morals put in. That's where you get those ideas put in. And then after that, they're forming into adults. So now you need to create a space where they want to come to you and say, Mom, this happened to me. Is this normal? Is this okay? And then you say, no,
well, I'd
should've been
say
this way."
I'd agree with you, but I'd say that first stage would be like the training wheels, and then after that, it's like them learning to ride their bike on their own, and you maybe coming along, checking on them.
Right. And
that
so
time.
I'm going to talk to them. So it's like if they bring a boy home, so I'm iffy on, I'm going to be like, I'm going to give them. Well, at that point, I'm already going to have the standards put down where like you should be picking up certain red flags or notice this, that, and the other. And if I tell you, there's a good chance I might let you still go on that date with that boy. And then when he breaks your heart, I'm going to be there and talk to you about the details of it because now you're comfortable enough to talk to me about it. And same with the boys. I want them to understand what is okay and what is not. I want them to understand a woman's body. So we have the sex conversation. It's going to start the moment I see you under the pool looking at girls' booties at 4 or 5 years old. I'm going to be like, that's not okay. I'm not going to do that. And it's going to, every time I see you doing something that is showing your sexuality, we're going to have a conversation. It's not, I'm not going to brush that off and just be like, no, let's not talk about that. You don't say those things. Like, let's talk about why'd you say that
So knowledge and openness.
is big. I think
Yeah.
we do not give kids enough credit. We talk to them like they're stupid and they are so much more aware than we realize. And I know this from co-parenting people with young sons and seeing
Mhm.
that too. Like
Yeah, a lot of people dumb it
son's
down.
conversation needs to be happening when they are fucking like toddlers because a straight male, dude, I had a 4-year-old come up to me and slap my ass and say, why does it jiggle? And I said, you do not touch grown women's butts. You
Okay,
don't
that's
do that.
different.
That's inappropriate.
That'd be more like when a problem comes up. There's certain things you don't need to talk about that young.
Well, no,
until-
that's why you wait until it starts.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
until their interest starts, they show interest and they're pointing their attention, asking questions, or doing certain behaviors, and you slowly open that conversation by addressing it and not
Okay.
ignoring it, not yelling at them, not screaming at them, but talking to them about it.
And what would yours be?
That was a lot. Sorry.
I feel like it's same as hers.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
but also just me doing my part as a parent and always being there for them, listening to them and not judging. You know, it'll help them. You know, be able to come up to me and tell me things. But even I just feel like even if I'm very open and accepting and I listen to them, I just feel like as a kid, like they're still
You're still
not
gonna
gonna
think you
always
don't know.
tell me everything.
No, they're never going to because they're developing into humans and we all have our secrets, right?
True.
I think mine would be discipline for both. Like letting them know that there's it's okay to, experiment, try things, but to keep it under wraps a little bit. If there's any problems, let me know. You can ask me anything that way. I notice a lot of people, like, you try to pull the reins too much, they just go fucking wild and they go crazy because it's like, oh, like, you can't do this, can't do that. But if you really, I don't want either one to do shit. Like, I want them to like calm down. But if I give them that like freedom to try, then they're gonna come to me with the bullshit. Just like the same thing with like alcohol. It's like if you say, hey, like if you're drunk at a place, I'll come and get you. They're gonna call you instead of being a dumbass and getting a wreck somewhere.
They're gonna call
So
you.
it's and then you can tell them, say, hey, like, don't do that dumb shit again. or be smarter next time, or just like, hey, call me again,
Mm-hmm.
or like have one drink, stuff like that, where it's like responsibility, teaching that responsibility. Because I know a lot of places like in the UK where it's like when you're drinking when you're like 16, 17, it's okay. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm chilling.
But their
man.
parents are teaching them how to drink too.
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Yeah, one of my friends, he was probably drinking and texting. He was like 15.
I started
So-
drinking when I was 15.
Yeah, so he didn't give a fuck. He's
With
like, okay,
parents.
like, here I am. So what would your few be?
I would just say just have standards and enforce those standards, but not so strict to the point where you don't let them experience their own life, especially men, because men need to kind of fall and fail to kind of learn to pick themselves up and kind of try again and keep going, because you need to learn that resilience as a man. So like I kind of have more expectations for having a son as opposed to a daughter. The daughter's a little bit scarier, because I know if I had a daughter, I'd be one of those overprotective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to be more honest and raw with her about the tactics of men. So not just to say
Oh,
all men
no,
want
that's
things,
what I was
but
gonna
yeah,
say.
just be more thorough, because we are
Fuck
we are
words, watch
susceptible.
actions. It's like the obvious ones. It's like
Right.
a lot of people like they fall for that honey so easily. Where it's like, watch what they're doing. Like,
Especially if you as a father haven't been giving her enough honey. Like you think that every now and then just a little, I love you, I'm proud of you is good. But you, as your daughter, you have to dote on her a little bit. You need to tell her the things that you would want a man to say to her when he's showing her he loves you, because you're the first man to ever love her. So you have to show her every action that looks like.
yeah,
And then when you're mad at her, upset with her, you need to speak to her in a way that you would want a partner to speak to her. So
this is how
not
someone
being
who's
aggressive.
frustrated with you, who actually cares about you,
Right.
would speak. If they don't speak like this,
Right. You
then
can't be
tell them to
scary
get the fuck out of here.
violent with it.
There's a lot of people I know put up with like bullshit where it's like, oh, like, who cares? Like,
And that's why when
No.
people yell at me, I shut down.
Dissociate. You're like,
Yeah, I'm quiet. I'm done at that point.
all right, that's a wrap. If
Yep. Yeah, that's a great show. Appreciate the panel. Thank y'all so much for another awesome show. Really appreciate you. Appreciate you, Eric and Des, for coming through, hosting today's show. Shout out to the chat as well. We'll be back next week. I'm not quite sure if we're having a Monday show. We may be, but we'll definitely be having a show soon. Sergio is going to be returning soon as well. I noticed y'all in the chat asking about Sergio quite a bit over the past couple shows. He's taking some well-deserved time off for himself.
little
But
vacay.
yeah, nice little vacay. But yeah, he is coming back soon. We do got a whole lot planned for you guys. That's going to be brand new and more interesting. But till then, y'all have a great evening. Peace.
And real quick, if
Yeah.
you have any time, check out my podcast every Sunday at 1 p.m. Fabric of Culture podcast. It's where I interview fashion models, photographers, fashion designers, any creatives. Like I just I like
tap in, bro.
yeah, I pick their brain, like see how they get started, how you should get started. Check it out on my channel, Desmond Broadway. All right.
Look at my art.
All right. Anything else, fellas, ladies?
I mean, yeah. If you need some art, you want to see a fire ass installation, you like raves, follow me, Shanoa Louise, CHANOAH. But yeah, I do trippy art, so tap in.
Bet. All right. Well, peace, chat. Y'all have a great weekend.
What?
I got it.